Hey guys, Diego here. I just wanted to say thank you all for listening to the show this year, be it a retrospective, a hangout, an interview with one of our filmmaker pals or new filmmaker friends and anybody in the industry. I think this has been a very good year for the show. Just looking at even like the Spotify numbers, like our audience increased by like 36%. Our total new audience went up by 999%. So, and that's on Spotify alone. So just really thank you all for that. It means a lot. We wouldn't do the show. We don't make money off the show. Hopefully in the coming year that would change. We will cross that bridge when we get to it. But I just want to say a sincere thank you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Some quick housekeeping. The Terminator retrospective basically has nothing to do with Avatar. If you want to go listen to some Avatar takes with me, Gene, and our guest host, Brandon Swafford, the great Brandon, go check out the Hangouts. We get into a lot, as much of the nitty gritty as you can for a 3.5 hour long movie. Thumbs up all around, but go listen to that conversation if you want. Actually, yes, if you can, go. It's a good one. Seriously, I'm trying to be more positive and affirmative in my discussions moving into the new year. But yes, this is the James Cameron Terminator retrospective. It doubles sort of as the Christmas episode for the retrospective. And I also want to make sure you all check out our upcoming live episode, our live best of the year, best of 2025 episode. Monday night, December 29th. There we go. I just want to make sure I get the date right. December 29th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please check that out. Subscribe, ring that little notification bell, anything you can to just remind yourself that, hey, we're doing that. We'll be posting flyers and everything like that. Come swing by. We're only going to do it for like an hour. We're not going to keep you guys for a retrospective length episode. Although one day that would be cool. But then again, I just did that Lord of the Rings thing this year with Matt, which was awesome. That was like 12 hours of our lives. So probably won't do that again. But that was very fun. And again, something I'm very thankful that people actually checked out as it was happening on YouTube. The full audio versions of that will also be out in the coming weeks. So just thank you all so much. I really appreciate that, and especially if you listen to the entirety of the voice memo. Now, enjoy the Terminator and Terminator 2 retrospective.
You've been terminated.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Waffle Press Movie Podcast Retrospective Series. This is not related to our superhero blockbusters. This is a Terminator retrospective, kind of. We're really talking about the first two movies. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me today is my co-host, Matt Garingo.
That's me, and I have my camera on for Diego, and he can see my cat right now. He's sticking his butt.
Oh, okay. Oh, hello. Hello, Cat.
It's Logan.
Hi, Cat. Hello.
He's Logan because...
What is Logan's thoughts on this?
Logan is thinking, why aren't you giving me treats right now?
Well, answer him.
It's because it's not time. It's not time, damn it.
Do you have... Oh, speaking of time... No, we'll get into all that. Yeah, we're going to get into all the Terminator stuff. We're going to talk about the sequels, why they're underappreciated, why... Every franchise should follow their footsteps.
Yes. Probably, I think, honestly, it's very rare in this industry, but probably a perfect franchise. No notes.
Yeah. No. Everyone can agree that the trajectory of this series is incredible. And
100%.
Every single movie is a game changer, which is like just remarkable considering especially how Terminator and Terminator 2 just like redefine different facets of the industry, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever the next one comes out, which I'm sure they're working on right now, I think it will reinvent the genre once again. Like all action movies are going to look different afterwards.
Yep.
Anyway, do you know that they made a Terminator Salvation ride?
Really? Wait, hang on.
Don't look into it.
Where?
At Six Flags Magic Mountain, there was Terminator Salvation the ride, which is a wooden roller coaster. That's great for a Terminator themed ride. Um,
Yeah, it feels like they missed the mark on that one.
and I believe it had Terminator robots at one point, like it was like next to the ride. You know, Six Flags does that like bullshit theming where it's just like there's the Batmobile next to like a roller coaster, and then the ride's called Batman, but that's about it. Like, they don't they don't go
Yeah.
too deep on the theming. I believe that's what,
No, but it's a fun
and
coaster.
I think it shot fire the Terminator ride. Um, and now it was only called Terminator Salvation for about 2 years, and now it is known as Apocalypse the ride.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is it has not cracked the top. It has not cracked the top 50 Golden Ticket Award for best wooden roller coaster for the past 10 years. So it's not
Oh, that's a
so it's
shame.
not in the top 50. And the highest it ever was
But
27.
okay. Terminator. So let's talk about our history with it, and then let's do the first movie. Let's see if we can just try to keep it contained to the first movie,
Mm.
and then we'll talk Judgment Day, and then we'll we'll kind of bounce around what came
Well, we've
after.
already got
Um,
problems
oh, okay,
because I think like a lot of people my age, my first introduction to Terminator was Terminator 2.
okay,
I think a lot of people, I think if you had a father who was divorced maybe and wanted to watch action movies, felt more comfortable showing you Terminator 2 than he did Terminator. Uh, I seem
See,
to,
that's interesting.
mm,
Because my dad fucked it up then
mm,
because we did a movie night like on a weekend I was
mm,
with him, and he barbecued, and then we watched Terminator and Terminator 2. We rented
mm,
them from an old video store in Montebello,
mm.
California. Shout out Montebello.
How old were you at this point?
I must have been in fifth or sixth
Mm,
grade, maybe even fourth grade.
hmm.
Yeah, around
Yeah,
that
yeah,
age.
sounds about right.
Yeah, how about you?
Well, here's what's weird. Terminator 2 is something, in my opinion, um, where I think it is like Star Wars to me, where I saw it so young I do not remember the first time seeing it.
Okay.
Terminator 2 is
It's always been
it's
there.
just eternally in my brain. Um, so and then I vaguely remember seeing the first Terminator movie for the first time. Like I probably saw that a little bit later, probably after I had seen, Aliens and The Abyss and stuff like that. Like I think it was probably one of the later James Cameron. Honestly, I had probably seen Titanic before I saw the first Terminator. Um,
Whoa.
Now I still saw them all in like pretty close succession, right? Like I think
Hmm.
this is like maybe a span of 3 years of my life. It's crazy how dominant James Cameron was in a weird way. Um, for a child, but like yeah, I had seen Terminator 2 and I knew Terminator 2 kind of more than any of them. And I remember my father being like, "Yeah, he's a bad guy in the first one." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And but I didn't I saw that way later. I think also I had seen other Schwarzenegger films by that point, so it was kind of honestly jarring to see the first one with him as the villain. Like I just wasn't expecting that.
Hmm.
And it is a that first one is so different from the second one too. Like I'm not saying too much out of school. I think most people agree with that take. Like
Hmm.
the first Terminator is a horror movie, right? Like
Yep.
it's definitely it's a lot closer to like Blade Runner than it is to what we know as the Terminator franchise, if I'm being in my opinion. Like it captures that weird vibe of not just America in the 80s, but specifically like the West Coast in the 80s, where it just feels like there's something wrong. Like we can't really place it. It's like it's that Inland Empire type shit of just like we shouldn't be building a city here, and it feels like the end of the world already. Like it feels like we're already at war with ourselves in Los Angeles, right? And then you go to the second one, and there's like an LA vibe to the second movie, but the second movie is so much more just like action movie superhero film, right? Uh, Not that there
The
aren't
second one
horror elements
is
too.
like an action epic.
Yeah, but he's a straight up superhero in Terminator 2. Like he's
Mhm.
the hero of like in terms of like the action of that movie, right? Uh,
It is such a good template for superhero type story
mm,
that they basically use that in Black Adam.
yeah, no, 100%. Like I actually like as Terminator 2, I feel like doesn't get ripped off enough in terms of the sequel. Like I know Megan 2 just tried to do it and kind of failed miserably. Like uh
Yeah, but some might argue that Megan didn't have the juice initially,
yeah,
so maybe
but I mean it's still not a bad idea for a sequel. Like
No, no. When they announced that, I was like, yeah, that seems fun.
mm,
As not a huge Megan head,
yeah.
and everyone else was like, "Fuck
Yeah, yeah, it was
this."
very violently rejected. What if Black Phone 2, the grabber, they had to team up with them.
Oh God. Well, as one of the few people in America who has seen Black Phone 2, actually, that's not true. It did pretty well. Um, that is not the plot of that movie.
No.
The plot of that movie is what if you did Nightmare on Elm Street where nobody dies?
Hey, I mean, look, it does feel like that's kind of trying to pivot like an R-rated film to like a PG-13 territory, right? Like,
Yeah, look, everyone's like, oh, they got like, it's like Stranger Things.
mm,
They did that
mm,
for Black Phone 2. I'm sorry. That people fucking get wrecked in Stranger Things. People
mm,
get like ripped apart and whatever. I love that it's like it started as a kids show
yeah,
and that it's got that vibe. Black Phone 2 has none of that. So it needed that. It needed people to get chopped in half and
yeah.
like people like one person gets thrown around a room and then they kind of bleed and they're like, I'm okay. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, die. Like, sorry. I just that movie's so fucking
But
boring.
imagine like
And
if like they imagine if the marketing for Black Phone 2 had been all that stuff, but then it's like, no, we need to team up with the grabber to stop the grabber 2 million. Imagine that was the plot of Black Phone 2.
oh my god. Did you ever see Don't Breathe?
I saw Don't Breathe. I've never seen Don't Breathe 2, though. Uh,
Okay, yeah. So you knew exactly what I was going to talk about.
okay.
um, yeah, he's still like a monster man in Don't Breathe 2, but they definitely are like now we're gonna make you root for him,
Yeah.
and it's just not as interesting.
The biggest
Or
fumbling of
yeah,
this I can think of off the top of my head, and I could actually be wrong about this because it is one of the most boring movies ever made. So, like, I kind of don't even fully remember it. But Species 2 attempts something like this, where they clone the alien from the first movie to help them hunt down because there's like a male alien in Species 2, right?
I
Uh,
remember you talking about this one
yeah,
time. Yeah,
and it would have been a perfect because like that was part of the thing is that Species isn't a good movie, but you watch that movie and you're like, this playing the alien kind of rules. Like she's kind of like this really interesting character. And it would be like, yeah, make her the protagonist of the next movie, and then she just turns evil like right in the middle of it. Like they barely do the team up thing.
yeah. See, that's boring.
Yeah,
That's lame.
it would have been
Uh,
awesome to like. I love that. Like where I mean, like not just in a like Terminator way, but it's like Vegeta is like the best. Where it's like Vegeta's like this guy who like blows people up and kills all our friends, and now he's like our buddy. Like or Piccolo. Piccolo was like that. Piccolo killed everyone at one point. Like
oh, did he?
yeah, all right. The people don't actually know this because everyone's so used to Dragon Ball Z. Because Dragon Ball Z just starts out with Goku's an adult with a kid, and Piccolo's just kind of like, we're rivals. I'll get you eventually, but we have to team up because there's a worse thing, and then I'll adopt your son, and I'll be a better father than you ever were, Goku. And then Piccolo ends up being the coolest guy ever. But the final arc of Dragon Ball is a tournament in which Piccolo basically kills everyone. Like, is just evil. Like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah, he's like straight up evil. And and I like they win and they use the Dragon Balls to wish everyone back. But like that's the ending of Dragon Ball, which is kind of crazy to think about. Um, Dragon Ball Z pulled that shit like a dozen times, like where the guy you hate ends up joining your team, right? You know,
Hmm.
Majin Buu ended up
I
as a
gotta
good
rewatch that.
guy.
Really?
Yeah. Well, all right. Actually, kind of related to Terminator. Majin Buu like split into like good Majin Buu and evil Majin Buu at one point. Like that's why like gets like all like
Okay, so
muscular looking at one point. Like he starts out as like a fat guy, and then
hmm
like this is the ultimate evil, and then he like sees guys like kill a dog. I'm gonna get all this wrong. It's been forever since I've watched the later seasons of Dragon Ball Z. If I remember correctly, he sees like a dog get killed and is like, "Oh wait, violence is bad. I'm gonna resurrect this dog and I'm a good guy now." But because he's evil, he had to like expel the evil side of himself, which created evil Majin Buu, which I think was Kid Buu initially, and then that grew up, or Kid Buu came later. I don't know. Um,
all right.
yeah, well, then also like the canonical sequel video game introduces like Android 21, who's got Majin Buu blood, but she's a woman, so it's Girl Buu. And of course, she's not a fat lady; she's a sexy lady who's pink. And she splits into a good half and evil half at some point. Like, there's a lot going on in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it does feel like we're losing the recipes for great like redemption arcs. Like,
Mm.
sorry, I'm in the Stranger Things mindset because the final season just started and all that
And
shit.
everyone
Sorry,
loved
but
it.
like, it, people seem to like it. I thought it was going to be more divisive, but there's reasons for it to be divisive production wise and who's involved. But like, there's the jock Steve Harrington's kind of like the big fan favorite of that show. And like that's the closest you get to like full on redemption in that show. It's like the guy who's a douche and then learns to like care about kids and shit. It's like, all right, that's a basic one.
Was
I
he?
think the
I don't remember any of the kids' names on fucking Stranger Things. Which one's that? The Steve Harrington. He shows up.
yeah, he's one of the teenagers.
Mm.
Like there's the different groups of characters. There's the kids or the teens, and then there's
And
the
he's like,
adults. He's one of the
but Steve
teens.
Harrington was like a piece of shit in season one, right? Like he really sucked
Yeah, he's a bully. He's a
and I'm
full
not.
on like Stephen King level bully who like realizes he actually likes this girl and doesn't just want to use her, and then tries to be a better person, and then he gets to be a hero who beats up a spooky monster, and then he's like he steals every season afterwards.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
great.
that's, I think it was that thing that happened with what's his name on The Walking Dead? Remember what's that actor's name? Who's uh Death Stranding. What was it?
Not Michael Rooker, the other
The
one.
other one, yeah. Oh God,
Yeah,
Norman
Norman
Reedus. Yeah,
Reedus.
where he's like racist season one, but then he was so popular, it's just like, hey, he got better. they just, they just, there's no
Yeah.
real arc for him, you know. Like
Yeah.
that
I
happened.
mean, I think it's managed better in Stranger Things because it's in the narrative of the first season,
Yeah,
where you can tell it was like they were going to kill this kid at the end of the first season.
yeah.
And then they're like, hey, this kid's really
And he
good.
goes,
And he's like really charming. Let's keep him
I just think
around.
if I remember though, by like season three, he's almost like a soft boy almost. Like he really changes personality wise by like, yeah, I'm a jock, but it's only because
We don't
I'm
need to get into it, but
some.
I'm discovering that season 3 is actually very divisive because it gets a lot broader than the first two seasons.
Yeah.
And yes, he's a soft boy in that one,
Mm.
but it's fine. It's
I mean,
I would
that's
say
not even
he's the most
really.
earned.
That's not even
Yeah.
really a diss. But I also think, yeah, like we're in this weird. And we also have to remember, Terminator is not a redemption story. It's a different Terminator. It's just that, like, it's not like, oh, Sarah Connor, like, I tried to murder you. I'm actually better now. It's like, no, it's a completely different robot, right?
You know
Like,
that's totally true. Yeah, yeah.
that's
So even like redemption arcs aren't even inherently like a thing this franchise does.
yeah. There, I guess.
I think it just gets credit for it,
I
though. I
guess.
guess is maybe the point we're kind of coming to right now.
Well, Dark Fate kind of had a redemption thing, which was
Dark
weird.
Fate straight up does. Yes,
Yeah, like where it
it's
was like, I
the
killed your son,
yeah
but then I found a lady and fell in love. And
yeah.
he did like window
Well,
repairs, right, or
that's kind
something.
of that's a super interesting idea in that movie. I
There's a
think.
lot of interesting ideas in Dark Fate, and it's actually way better than it gets credit for. I think we were early defenders of that movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's just go all over the place. I want to touch on like the origins of Cameron, the origins of the franchise, but Should we just do some broad Terminator takes right now and then just kind of work our way back?
Well, let's talk about the origin of the franchise. So Harlan Ellison was born May 27th, 1934.
Okay, I'm glad you bring this up because it's kind of what we have to talk about to
Yeah.
start too.
Uh, yeah. This is actually so it's a little weird. Like, there's actually a lot about James Cameron and how much he takes from other material, right? Like,
Hmm.
uh, where he fucked up in regards to Terminator, essentially was he gave an interview where he said, "Yeah, I just cobbled together a bunch of Harlan Ellison stories." Like Cameron just said that, I think in a Starlog interview or something, right? And
Yeah.
now this is where it gets weird because Harlan Ellison is also someone who's kind of an unreliable narrator and also a psycho, and he's dead. But he claimed that he read that interview and then just wanted like acknowledgement from James Cameron, and after reaching out to him, Cameron tried to say, "Oh no, that never happened," and that after that was when Harlan Ellison sued. And that's why if you watch the movie, it says, and basically because Cameron gave that interview, the end of Terminator says, we would like to acknowledge the works of Harlan Ellison. And basically the stories he ripped off or allegedly ripped off was a story about two soldiers from the future coming and fighting in the present day. I believe it's just called Soldier. I could be wrong. Um, like he, and there's a lot. I mean, you could take a lot from Harlan Ellison in that sense. Like Harlan Ellison did a lot of things like this. And yeah, I don't know. That's actually a hard one. Where like Harlan Ellison totally like is one guy who will fight for credit that he thinks he deserves, right? Like
Hmm.
famously, he won the lawsuit for Future Cop, all that shit. Which is as H Bomber guy point out in his wildly successful plagiarism video, the last time a writer actually won a plagiarism suit in Hollywood. Um, so that's going back to like the late '70s, early '80s.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and yeah, have you've seen the clip of Ellison being like "fuck you, pay the writer," right? You've seen that clip. Um,
Yeah, because you sent it to
oh
me.
yeah, probably. Very, very weird guy. So it's hard to tell how much of like that lawsuit was Harlan being Harlan or how much legitimate grounds he had, right? Like I
Hmm.
really don't know. That's one of those ones where like I don't know where the line is, right? In terms of plagiarism
Yeah.
and stuff. Like if it would be one thing if like Harlan Ellison was trying to get a movie made based on that story and then a studio swooped in and just made Terminator, but to be like, yeah, I kind of took the setup but then put some other stuff in there. I don't know. That's a hard one for me to really pin down, right?
But look, I mean, you and I were just speaking before recording about like how influences and like certain things like people take from wherever whatever inspires them they're gonna steal from it, or at least like riff on it whether they mean to or otherwise. um Cameron just outright saying that in an interview in like Starlog or whatever is pretty wild though. It's very funny, and he has a little bit of the George Lucas syndrome where maybe that's not how he recalls it anymore,
Yeah.
where it came to him in the dream
Mm.
or whatever.
And
And I do believe certain ideas totally did like just pop up in his dreamscape or whatever.
yeah.
Doesn't mean they didn't come from Harlan Ellison first, and that's
Mm.
whatever. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
And it would honestly, having read those stories, which Harlan Ellison's a good writer and stuff, and there is fun stuff, but it is like night and day. Like they're not that similar. It's like there's time travel and shooting. Like
Yeah.
it's not the most direct one to one ever. Um, I do think it's funny.
No. No. No.
Cameron also specifically cites Halloween as an influence on Terminator. Um,
Yeah. I
it,
mean, talking about it just being a horror movie, like
it,
it is straight up like. What if you did a slasher, but the killer was a robot,
yeah,
and then here's the juice, or I guess the secret sauce to all of Cameron's like great works of art, of which most of his filmography I think is. It's not just that it's a killer robot movie. It's okay, let's take that. What does that mean for the world? What does it mean for the characters? What are the grander ideas behind that? If it's a killer robot sent from the future, this must be an important person to be able to basically have like multiple subgenres of sci-fi in this,
Yeah.
and they're the background of the story. Like, what does that mean about fate and free will? That your son from the future sent a soldier back to protect you, who was also his father. Like, it's an insane movie. Like, when you're breaking down
No,
the plot that
100%.
way.
And it is one of those ones where it Cameron does underline how shallow a lot of other action directors are, friendly. Not in terms of like, obviously Cameron has like budget and skill on his side, which I don't want to hold every person to be like, you're not as good as James Cameron, because who is? But like a lot of times you get these action movies where like they have that incredible setup and then they don't, like, they just kind of only have the setup, right? Like they only
Mm-hmm.
have the interesting, like, oh yeah, that's an interesting idea, but you haven't really thought about it at all, frankly. And Cameron does, sit down and go like, okay, let's really break this down, think about it, and it gives it this, like, I always call it like like giving a film like Chemical X, right? Of just the
Yeah.
lore of the Terminator is not, it's not just lore in terms of like story, it's like theming. Like suddenly this movie has like weight to it. So now like every explosion actually matters, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
just like, oh, this thing's unstoppable, isn't that crazy? It's like, well, like we're dealing with the fate of the world. And it's a very grim note of just being like, yeah, the world's going to end, but we need to protect the savior for the next generation, right? Which is a
Mm-hmm.
very unique worldview to have in like 1984's Reagan's America, right? Where
Yeah.
with a movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, where it's like so many of our movies at this time are just like, isn't it awesome? Let's go just shoot everyone. And it's like, didn't we just lose Vietnam? And it's like, no, don't talk about that. Like, it's just, it's, like, oh, if you bring that up, you hate the veterans. And it's like, didn't you guys just cut like all sorts of like health benefits to those guys? Like, don't talk about that. Like, that's like all our movies from the 80s. Just like, wouldn't it be great if we were just awesome again? Like, forget all this stuff about us losing. What if we just had like all the best guns and shot people? And then you have this movie coming along being like, we're on a path that's going to get all of us killed, and we're there. It's such a fatalistic view of being like, we're already fucked. Like, it's too late. Reagan is president. We can't go back and change it. Reagan's about to get reelected like a week after this movie comes out, in a landslide, by the way. And it's like, yeah, we're all fucked. The only thing we can do right now is hope for the next generation. And it's like, yeah, you make $100 million in the 80s.
You and I were talking before about another, I'll just say the VHS movies,
Mm.
and how most of those VHS shorts are not great, right? And I mentioned one of the later sequels, VHS 94, as like, I really enjoyed it because of, or no, no, VHS Beyond, which is specifically the sci-fi subgenre one. And I really like that one as a whole because of the ambition on display for movies that are made for very, very, very little. Less than Terminator, even without inflation, right? And I think that like that level of ambition is just something Cameron can't turn off. Like he just has that with his narrative backbones, like his filmmaking. Have you ever seen his first film, Xenogenesis? It's a short film as well.
You know what? I probably saw it a long time ago, but I've seen Piranha 2: The Spawning, but I have not. I can't
Okay, yeah,
remember
which maybe he
Xenogenesis
didn't really.
off
Yeah.
the top of my
Okay,
head.
so I saw Xenogenesis for the first time this week, and it's pretty rough looking
Mm.
because it was a VHS like scan, and then I saw like a better version of it, and I'm like, okay, this looks better, but it's still like very rough condition. It played at like the French American Cinematheque in France or
Mhm.
something like that, or the whatever the Cinematheque of some kind in France,
Yeah.
like 2 years ago or whatever for a James Cameron retrospective or something. Um, every idea he's had about like sci-fi action, it's right there just from the start.
Mm.
There's a power loader fight. There's like long matte hallway paintings. There's like weird computers and weird history related to humanity and machinery. Like it's all there. It's 11 minutes and it's all
I'm
there.
a
It
little.
ends very abruptly,
I'm a.
but yeah.
One thing I got to point out. I just Googled, like, just Google image searched, and the image of the lady in it is a blue woman, which is interesting. to consider, but I have a feeling that that maybe doesn't actually show up in the movie. So,
Yeah, that's not in Xenogenesis.
okay, but
No.
that's kind of interesting. All the way
There,
back then,
yeah,
blue people.
yeah. There are like drawings
Yeah, these
and like
drawings are
there's a quick
incredible.
like
And
origin. Yeah,
yeah,
they're amazing, and they're like the origin story in the first like couple minutes of the short film. And I was like, oh, is this what it's gonna be? And like, no, 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 it's like a straight up like action short film at a certain point. And again, which is fucking amazing. I think it cost like $20,000
Mhm.
at the time, and he got it from like raising money from dentists. So
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, I mean that was the
um,
move. That was the move. Then you go around harass some dentists.
yeah. But yes, the Blue Lady's not actually like a character in the movie or anything. They're just normal people fighting a giant machine. It's straight up like Ellen
Can I
Ripley,
just say
like
that's
a lookalike,
this is
which is
the bane. This is why my life is terrible. This is the only reason why. Um,
there's no Blue
well,
Ladies.
no, that I cannot tell you how many movies I rented back in the day that would have a blue lady, a green lady, a purple lady, something on the cover. And I'd be like, we're going to see alien people. And I watch it and they weren't in the movie. And now I do get blue people, but they look like weird cats. So, so I feel ripped off. Now I can get everything I always wanted as a kid. And it looks like shit.
Hey, hey,
All
hey.
right,
We're
yeah,
not here to talk about
Avatar looks
avatars.
good. I just don't like the look of the Navi. And just
Yeah.
whatever. I like that they're tall. It's fun that they're tall
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
because they're like because the people are tiny. So it's
Yeah.
funny. They fight robots with a
Um,
giant Bowie knife.
yeah. Oh, so allegedly the dentist that was funding the movie also pulled out of Xenogenesis like
Mm,
towards completion, like when he was showing off like an early cut of it, and then Roger Corman didn't pick it up, but he liked it, and that's how Cameron gets to work on Battle Beyond the Stars
Galaxy of
and gets the gig
Terror.
on Piranha 2.
He also worked on Galaxy of Terror, right? Is that the other one that Cameron,
Yeah,
where I believe he did the maggots on the hand special effect? I believe they talk about that a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Um,
And Cameron talks about like when he was making Xenogenesis, he compared himself to like a surgeon
mm,
or like a doctor, like on their first surgical procedure, like learning as they went along.
yeah.
Um, and I'm like, you know what? I'll be honest. Like Xenogenesis isn't like great, but it's just like such an ambitious short. You're kind of like you're into it, and you can see this is a dude who just knows how to use the camera, how to use the blocking, how to use the space in action sequences, like right out of the gate.
Isn't that a Weird Al song? No,
Xenogenesis.
like a surgeon instead of like a virgin.
Oh, that's
Like a
hilarious.
surgeon cutting for the very first time.
Yeah, set that song to James Cameron's Xenogenesis.
Also,
Um,
he was a truck driver, right? Like that was the thing. He
yep.
was a truck driver, and then I think he took LSD and went to see Star Wars and was like, "Yeah, I want to make movies now." So that makes sense.
That would make sense.
Mm,
Oh, okay. There's actually connective tissue between Star Wars and Terminator.
mm,
And obviously there's a bunch of like historical like connections, like
yeah.
they changed culture. They both changed culture.
Mm,
Sci-fi is different before and after both of these movies.
yeah.
They had a secret super fan in both movies, and not someone most people would expect.
Mm.
The great Andrei Tarkovsky loved Star Wars and
That's
Terminator.
kind of
Now, there's not a lot of talk about him like praising Star Wars too much. He
mm,
just like is known to have loved it.
mm,
The first one. I don't think he cared about sequels.
mm.
Difficult man, it looks like. R.I.P. King. And
Was
then
he
he
like was
also
he like
loved Terminator.
Empire Strikes Back is too dark?
Well,
This is too,
wait here.
this is too depressing for me, Andrei Tarkovsky.
No, he probably just thought it was like what's that William Goldman quote? It's fucking it's pretty brutal. Oh yeah, sequels are horrors pictures.
Yeah.
which is
I mean,
not
sure.
something I agree with.
Mm,
But Tarkovsky said the brutality and low acting skills are unfortunate. This is for the
mm.
Terminator. Quote, but as a vision of the future and the relation between man and his destiny, the film is pushing the frontier of cinema as an art. End quote. He doesn't talk about American movies that way.
And then
So,
he died 2 years later. So, um,
yeah.
hey,
Um, God bless him. He made like exclusively masterpieces in my eyes.
mm,
But I get like why he responded to like the mechanical aspects and like the cinematic aspects of Terminator 2. Like it's kind of like Stalker looks like this,
oh yeah.
just without like the robot chase sequences.
No, I mean, even like Ivan's childhood has this movie's vibe, like of just like
Yeah, so
real.
like you mentioning you
Mm,
bringing up like the tone
mm,
of that first movie, especially like we lost already and we're just kind of careening towards like
mm.
the consequences and the actions to get a resolution out of
Yeah,
it and hopefully do better. Like it's easy to see why he responded to
it's
that.
oddly hopeful.
Um,
Also, like it is like it does have a thing of just being like there's a storm coming. Like yeah, I know, like all that. Like it does end with like we are going to continue, but we are heading towards disaster. And
yeah,
but but yeah, it's a shockingly grim film. Um,
yeah.
so
I agree with the hopefulness, and like obviously Terminator 2 is very
mm,
hopeful, but even that one's still pretty fucking vicious.
yeah,
Um, but even this first Terminator, like the machines lose, and that's why they're sending a Terminator back as a last ditch effort.
yeah, and it's also
You know,
it's
like it is like we're gonna win, but it's gonna be hard, and we need to make sure they can never come back ever again.
yeah, but it's also like it is interesting, and you wonder how much Cameron intended this because the first movie is very different than the sequels, where it's a closed loop, right? Like the ending of the movie reveals like, oh, it was Cyberdyne, right? Like all that stuff. It's like that the Terminator actually coming back is what's gonna lead to this robot revolution and the apocalypse, right? That
Hmm.
there's again a very fatalistic thing, but it is also interesting that the villain of the film being a robot, being this agent of a hyper intelligence, can't sense that, right? That
Hmm.
they are trapped to this loop. That there's something in humanity that machines will never conquer in a way, right? And that because of the machine's
Yeah.
inability to perceive that, that's their ultimate doom, um, which is a really interesting choice. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
it's hard to talk about Terminators because it's been talked about so much, but again, I think we underestimate just because it is so foundational to cinema. I also want to point out,
Yeah. And
as in terms of like Halloween's influence, I do think it's funny that that's kind of a full circle moment because Michael Myers is partly influenced by Yul Brynner as the robot cowboy in Westworld,
hmm.
which is just another unstoppable. Which is like as a kid, I was probably more scared of Yul Brynner in Westworld than I was of Arnold, to be honest. But is a very like creepy, like is coming to kill you and you can't do anything about it type thing, right? Of
Hmm.
it's just an interesting full circle moment in writing. Uh, so
Yeah. Some more on the filmmaking. I mean, everyone knows all the story, so we won't have to like repeat everything. Like they filmed by like a lot of like car lots and stuff like that because the lights, very smart, economical, budget friendly filmmaking. Although I believe they still had to like they ballooned the budget and they went over their initial budget of like $4 million. I think it's like $6 million or something
yeah,
by the time they're done. It looks like it costs 5 times that, so who cares?
yeah, it's crazy how
But
good this looks for the budget.
yeah, um, the late great Adam Green shot this movie. Or Adam Greenberg, excuse me. He shoots both the first and second Terminator. He also worked with Catherine Bigelow on Near Dark. So like the wet down streets and like those those like sodium vapor street lights, like the look. He basically like defined the look of 80s movies after
And he
this.
just
Like everything tries to look like this.
passed away recently, right?
Yeah, October
Mm.
30th.
October
Yeah.
30th, and his last
R.I.P.
His last film was him returning to his native Israel with footsteps in Jerusalem. Okay, gonna stop reading there. Uh,
Yeah, that's not ideal, but
and the
um,
last official film he worked on was Snakes on a Plane.
yeah. I mean, what a way to go
Oh
out,
yeah,
you know?
go out on top.
Yep.
Remember Snakes
Uh,
on a Plane?
and
We talk about that enough. We really don't. That like people were like Snakes on a Plane is gonna make $500 million. Like people were insane for that movie. Remember,
mm,
like, because of the fucking meme, right?
yeah.
They're like, and it opened like number 5 at the box office. Like, it
Whew.
was like it wasn't like a like, oh, it did good weekend one and then like dropped. It was like, no, it opened bad and like it kind of made money, but not really. And also, it's bad.
Well, it's better left in the past.
It's
But yeah,
bad.
his work on these movies was excellent. Uh, Also, the last movie he lit himself was Near Dark. Um, I That's according to Catherine Bigelow. Terminator 2, it just looks like a bigger budget version of the Terminator. Like, obviously, they're doing a lot more crazy shit, but it feels like a natural evolution considering like the genre change up and everything. You know, um, I think we're gonna hop around a lot because I really want to talk about Terminator 2. But it is interesting, like you mentioned, like the fatalistic aspects of the first Terminator, the closed loop nature of it. I totally agree. Um, but there is just something like so like borderline. I don't know. It's almost like spiritual in these movies.
Yeah.
You know, I guess Terminator feels Old Testament.
Mm.
Judgment Day feels very New Testament.
Mhm.
You know what I
But
mean? Like,
also, I also think I think it's that thing of like this is why Titanic like isn't as much of an outlier as people think it is, and it's like it's like Cameron is a romantic at heart. Like that's I think the thing it took people a minute to understand, right? That he really has like a
mhm.
very romantic worldview of things, you know?
Yeah.
And
Even True Lies is like him trying to be romantic. Now it's
yeah,
very clearly directed by a man who's been divorced multiple times,
yeah.
but like uh it is very much about their love story at the center of this bombastic action movie.
Mm. Sorry, I'm just
Like
going.
he does love.
Yeah, yeah, he does. I mean, I think it is that thing of like, it's like the Wachowskis thing too, of like, oh, you made one of the coolest movies ever, and it's like, yeah, but like, love conquers all. Like, it's still,
Yeah.
you know, that's. I mean, that's the other element of this movie of just being like, Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor are destined to fall in love, right? That
hmm
that you know, that there's something it's both very strange in a like a psychosexual way to be honest, but like also like oddly romantic at the same time. Like it is and again it's a very like sci-fi superhero type plot. I think it's something that
hmm
nerds would gravitate towards. Being like, yeah, I need
Yeah.
someone from the future to fall in love with because I can't figure it out in the current world. But
Yeah.
uh
And I think that that's another element of the first Terminator that like a lot of these attempts at like copying or rejuvenating similar ideas like they miss. Like Sarah Connor's a straight up normal like person.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's
Like she's not an action star in
she's a
this one.
waitress. She gets ice cream put in her little thing in her outfit.
Yeah.
Her
She's getting ghosted on
yeah,
dates.
yeah, which is very fun. I love when they cast like a very attractive actress, and it's like, yeah, you're getting ghosted. But anyway, um,
Yeah.
her mom gets killed off screen, which is one of those dark elements of this movie no one talks about.
Yeah.
They would just see the like house destroyed, and the Terminator on the phone. Bill Paxton in the opening, also everyone remembers that. Or does he get killed? Is he one of the
Oh
ones?
yeah.
i- Is
R.I.P.
he one of the punks that gets killed? Like I think like they most of them just get fucked up. Like the one gets punched through the chest, but uh,
Yeah, I think he's the one who gets thrown against the gate.
yeah.
The other guy gets like
Mm.
gutted.
Dick,
Nice night for a walk, eh?
nice night for a walk. Um, Dick Miller as a gun shop clerk who gets shot.
Yep.
Hey, you
Yep.
can't do that. Wrong. That's the other element of I think this and a little bit of Terminator 2, but more this movie is a weird like the 80s is kind of the beginning of the mass shooter era in America, right? Like it's
Hmm.
the first time we're getting this moment of people like just gunning people down randomly, right? In American streets and like gun culture really going insane in this moment, you know? Um,
Yeah.
it's which I think is partly reflected because it is just I think that is one of the struggles we have with modern action movies of just there's something too frightening about someone with an automatic rifle just gunning people down these days, you know? The
Hmm.
big set piece of this movie is him busting down a door and just shooting up a police station, right? And
Yeah.
you can see a shift in kind of Cameron's politics between one and two in terms of how he views the police. Like he views them as incompetent here more, right? Whereas like
Hmm.
in the sequel, the police are like actively hindering what people are doing and are a tool used by the enemy.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, and I think some people are I mentioned he had the George Lucas problem a little bit, and then like God bless both of these men for their art, but like maybe Lucas's like description of certain politics stuff is like, well, it sounds better to say this now, so
yeah,
maybe you're saying you're conflating it. I do believe Cameron was actively like angry about police when he made Terminator 2,
no,
you
yeah,
know.
I think he definitely, I think you can see it. I mean, well, here's the thing: the police in this are they're much closer. Like they're not bad, but they're much closer to like the police captain in Die Hard, right? Where he just kind of
Yeah.
sucks. Like they aren't evil; they just kind of don't do a good job. And there's like a weird like command collapse down the line, right? Where it's like all the different levels are bickering with each other. And that is the
Yeah.
post-Vietnam thing on a lot of 80s action movies too, of just being like none of our institutions know how to do anything anymore, right? That
Hmm.
everyone's
Yeah, I mean,
incompetent.
like Paul Winfield's police
Hmm.
chief. He's like or police lieutenant. He's like a good guy.
Yeah.
He's just like he's not very helpful, but
Mm.
he does want to help.
Well, I mean, he's
And then he
right.
dies horribly.
He's right. Like that's part of what is like the entertaining and scary thing is he's like, yeah, we're in a police station. What's going to happen here, right? There is a like
Hmm.
we like there's like literally we have every cop on the planet here. What's going to happen? The Terminator comes in and just kills all of them. Like, and that's the moment everyone. Like, when my dad pitched Terminator to me, he was like, "Yeah, there's an awesome moment where he just shoots up a police station." And like it's very interesting to think about in modern context. But
Hmm. Yep.
it is a like yeah, it's just a it's very it's again it's interesting how dark it is for James Cameron. Like again, even with the ending, like I think it's uniquely dark among his filmography, right? Like
Yeah. Well, he even refers to it as like more of a horror movie
mhm,
than an action movie because it is. It's got action in it,
mhm.
and like Terminator 2 is really the one where people look at Terminator as a franchise and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's an action franchise." And like it became that, but it didn't like have to,
Mhm. Well, I
Like totally the way people look at like Alien as a franchise and like, "Oh, it's like an action horror franchise." Like, no, that's really just Aliens
yeah.
and it's obviously terrific at that, but it's not the
I
vibe
actually
of the first one.
I somewhat disagree. I think the first Terminator was
Okay.
more received as an action movie in its day. I think it was because it was so ripped off as an action movie. Like there were so many movies in the wake of it that were trying to be Terminator, especially from the Italian filmmakers. Like there's so many movies that are like there's like a Terminator 2 that is like actually just an alien ripoff as an Italian film. Like
Yeah, Shocking Dark is the
yes.
name,
Um
which is a remarkable movie.
but I think it was like a heavily. It's just I think that's a testament to how the culture has shifted. That I think part of why we see the horror elements more when we watch Terminator now is an unfortunate reflection of just where our reality is at, right? Of just
Hmm.
I think a lot of the stuff in it was more hypothetical than it is now as so like we didn't it was just an excuse for action whereas now it's like oh these are really scary concepts that we've had to deal with right Like that
Yeah.
we have like automation, like it's just a big part of it, which was a thing happening in the 80s, obviously. But, the shootings, the violence, the just uh a sort of like inability to feel protected by our institutions. I think that is why we reflect on Terminator more as a horror movie, in my opinion. But a lot of sci-fi in the 80s had a tinge of that darkness, right? Like you were either this or Back to the Future. Like those were the two 80s
Yeah.
science fiction films.
No, no, for sure. And I mean, speaking to like that creative side of it, and like we have to mention Galen Hurd,
Mhm.
who's the co-writer on this and producer, and her and Cameron like really worked hard to keep themselves attached to the project. Like after Piranha 2 doesn't work, and he gets booted off after like it's the rumors are, or the story is like it was like 4 days to 2 weeks, like anywhere between that is when he worked on the movie, and it's basically not his. So he needs a job. Him and Gail Anherd try to come up with, try to make the Terminator happen, and then he gets a writing job to sublet that basically. Their attempt at a production process on that, and then that job is Aliens,
Mhm.
and they're fucking the legend is that they're so fucking blown away by that treatment that they're like, when do you want to do it? And he's like, well, I'm doing Terminator. And they're like, well, wait.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, there was a lot of that where it's like the other element of Terminator, obviously, is that Arnold was basically set to do Conan the Destroyer, right? Like that's the
mm-hmm.
which is at this point that's what Arnold is, Conan the Barbarian. That's his thing. So he waited a little bit too just to do Terminator, which was a really smart. It speaks to, I think, uh, in the 80s especially, Schwarzenegger's commercial instincts, right? That I think he had a
Mm-hmm.
better understanding of that stuff for at least a little bit. Um, and he was like, yeah, like doing something like Terminator would actually be good for my career, but kind of had to be talked into it, right? Like he kind of needed to, because it's like
Yeah.
the Terminator doesn't really talk. Like, he had issues with how the Terminator talked. Like that's famously a big element of it. The other funny thing, which I think has been um, exaggerated over the years, is that O.J. Simpson was considered for the Terminator, but they didn't think he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
enough.
It wasn't that serious of
Yeah,
contention. I think people should
I
know.
think it was literally just because those what was it? He was Hertz Rent-A-Car, right? That was O.J. Simpson's thing, like the "Go OJ Go" ads. Um,
I think so.
where
Yeah.
where he's like, "Oh, he
I think
runs."
that's why he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
well, it was like he runs, but also like he's too likable. That would probably be like that would be like why you brought him up, but also why you dismissed him. So, uh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just looking at. It is funny. This is the other thing. We'll kind of talk about this, but like, what's weird about Terminator is the Terminator makes Arnold, and arguably making Arnold is what makes the 80s action film, right? Like this is what defines what the 80s action film is going to be. Now, obviously, there's a sliding scale a little bit here in terms of what's coming out and when. We got like Rambo's before this, or stuff
Mm-hmm.
before this, right? Conan's before this. Um, but there is a like this is Terminator is the reason why muscle men are so big in the 80s, right? That we're going to do this type of stuff. And then the movie that arguably kills that is Terminator 2. Like Terminator 2 is Terminator's the beginning and Terminator 2 is the end, right? Not that
Mm-hmm.
someone like Arnold didn't have success afterwards, but it's like, that's why he does Last Action Hero next, because he's like, well, now I'm a star, I'm an action star, but also a star for children, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you can't go anywhere with your persona now, right? It's like it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you did, you're done with it. And it's like, True Lies is probably the closest he gets, where it's like now you're a family man, right? You're the muscle action guy, but you're also like a husband. But that's like this is the beginning of him kind of doing like maybe I'm a comedy guy, and does like Junior, and like Eraser, which is kind of like just generic action movie, and he's like maybe I'm a villain, and he's Mr. Freeze. Like he does like a bunch of stuff that just doesn't work, and then he's just like, okay, I'm the governor now. Like
Yeah.
that ends up being the move.
Yeah, this is all your guys' fault
Mm,
for not letting Arnold not be governor. You
mm,
should have kept him fucking booked and
mm.
busy.
I mean, I think the alternate timeline is if Cameron did Terminator 3, Arnold wouldn't have been governor. Like I think that would have
Hmm.
been the thing. Because that's
Yeah.
arguably the moment Arnold really is like, okay, you can't be a movie star anymore, right? Like the moment he did
Hmm.
Terminator 3 and is like, we're not gonna treat this as precious, we're just gonna get a like no-name guy to do this, and that's it. And like that movie was a hit, obviously. But it like that, I think that's the reason why when Arnold's like, I'm back, it doesn't land as well, you know? Um,
Hmm.
not just because they put him in all the ads for the Expendables, even though he's in that movie for 30 seconds, which I don't think helped things. Um,
Yeah.
eh,
And like even that isn't like a bad idea on paper.
mm,
It's just those movies fucking suck.
yeah.
So,
Mm,
what are you gonna do?
and now he's going to be Santa Claus in like the 17th. What if Santa Claus was an action guy movie to be made in the last five
Oh.
years?
Is he really?
Yeah, some movie called The Man with the Bag. Um,
Oh,
direct
Arnold.
directed by Adam Shankman of all people. Um,
Why do I know that name?
director of Hairspray and Rock of Ages and Disenchanted. Um,
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
he's got a weird career. Um,
All right.
Aquafina's in the movie. Um, but yeah, there's like arguably like he's made kind of every wrong decision post his governor career in terms of like the like I'm back thing, right? It's
Yeah. You know what? We still got The Last Stand. That movie fucking rips.
no, he's I like Last Stand. I think he's made I think we're like I think we like Last Stand. We like Sabotage. Do we like Escape Plan? Oh,
No.
okay, I saw Escape Plan once, so I have not seen it since. Um, I think it's from like Maggie, which like I don't know if Maggie's good, but it's like kind of interesting, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, he tried things.
yeah.
They just didn't work.
Aftermath, where it's just like, what if Arnold was just sad the whole movie? Like, yeah, he tried. The other big fuck up was the killing Gunther thing, which was like the joke was supposed to be, oh, it's Arnold, and then they turned it into the marketing is gonna be it's Arnold, right? Like, which you're like, no,
Yeah, that's absurd.
like it should have been something that came out in the end. Um, and
Allegedly, there's a plan for him to come back with Predator finally. He's
yeah,
had sit down meetings with Dan Trachtenberg. He gets a little cameo at the end of Killer of Killers. Um, we'll see.
yeah, I think that would make sense because it's right now it's his thing is like most of his movies weren't franchises, right? Like it's like
Hmm.
he did a lot of stuff like Running Man, Commando, Total Recall, which don't have sequels to it. And the only ones he really had were like Conan the Barbarian, which like the rights to Conan have been a mess, you know. Like a Red Sonja movie came out this year, no one saw it, and it was like it took like 80 years to get that movie made, you know.
Yeah,
There's that.
I've heard it's actually okay or
I've
pretty
I've
good.
heard too. I've heard for
So
like
I
what
want to
it
give that one a
I've heard
shot.
for what it is, it's pretty good. So I do want to check it out.
Yeah.
And then Terminator, which he totally whiffed. Like once we got to like, it really was I think three, just kind of like, which I don't even think three is like terrible, right? Like I'm not someone I know some people are like fuck that movie entirely, and I'm kind of like, if it's an action movie, it's fine, but it's also like you're going up against two of the greatest action movies of all time, and so I just
I
remember.
mean, even more than just like the action. Like
Mm,
when I pitched this to you for like
mm,
our quote unquote Avatar
yeah.
related James Cameron episode, I got really excited because I had realized I've basically watched Terminator and Terminator 2 every year without meaning to. It just kind of happens. And that these movies are even better than we're giving them credit for,
Mm,
and like frankly, not talked about enough in that capacity.
mm.
Like
And I
there's something borderline spiritual in these movies, and I'm so serious when I say that. And Terminator 3, you're right, is a perfectly acceptable action food like movie that you just kind of forget about.
Yeah. But it's
Like I know
also
people really like the nihilistic ending. My problem is that Terminator 2 already established that like, well, now we can go anywhere. So to circle back to
yeah,
that
to then just go like
feels like a wrong move to
yeah,
me.
it seems like oh we don't know how to end the movie was part of it. Like
Yeah.
that but there I would say there is an interesting vibe to that movie of just being like the world is ending and everyone is just like, yeah, the fucking cash machine's not working. Like I kind of like that element of it. Um
No, all that
uh,
shit could rule.
yeah,
That
also
movie sounds fucking awesome.
one thing that's really funny to me is that I think Terminator 3 is the only Terminator movie where a Terminator successfully terminates someone.
Oh, did I lose you?
I don't know. I'm just what I remember, like Terminator Salvation, I don't think really counts because it takes place in the future, right? Genesis, the
Mm-hmm.
plot is dumb. Uh, Dark Fate, John Connor does get shot in the opening, but it's
Yeah.
after the stuff's already happened, so it didn't really change. It didn't it didn't fix things in any way. But the Lady Terminator in Terminator 3, uh, she uh, she kills like several people she sent back in time to kill, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
she's probably the only one. And I remember that it's because I think I saw Terminator 3 in theaters. I think I might have seen it in theaters as a kid. Um, and I just remember the teaser trailer just being the liquid metal growing into like T3. If I remember correctly, that was the teaser trailer for Terminator 3. Like a year and a half before the movie came out. Of just being like, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, and I just remember being like, well, does that mean like in the future those people just like disappear? Like, is it like Back to the Future logic? Like, what happens here? I always remember imagining
Yeah.
that when I watched Terminator 3.
No, like the scope of Terminator 3 should make that movie like fucking
Mm.
awesome. Frankly,
Yeah,
I call Terminator 2 Judgment Day like an action epic. Like it's on par. Like Fury Road is on par with that movie. That movie's not on par with Fury Road. You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
Or
100%.
maybe that's not fair to Fury Road. That's
Hey,
not true. They're on equal playing fields.
well, I remember
They're
talking
both
to an
yeah.
older nerd who had very mixed feelings about Terminator 3, and he talked about like back in that like early internet day, there were so many theories about how do you make a Terminator 3 work, right? Like, what do you do after two? And then none of them are like explored at all in Terminator 3. Like, they're just like, fuck it.
It's not ambitious.
In no way is it ambitious. It's not even ambitious, really, in terms of like the evil Terminator. It's just a woman and like she's not even like liquid turn like they never establish what her gimmick is aside from like she can make her boobs a little bigger. Like I remember that happens at one point.
Yeah, she can activate the robots in the past to work for her,
Mm,
but it's like
That's
that's not
that's not that interesting.
particularly
And they
exciting.
never
Yeah.
do enough with that to make it like cool, right? They never like
Yeah,
there's
that
never
comes in like the last 30 minutes
yeah.
or something like that.
We're literally
And then it's like,
introduced
yeah,
to
okay.
robots like 5 minutes before they start shooting everyone, right? Like there's a couple scenes,
Hmm.
and I do like the thing of like the guy just casually says, "Okay, let's do Skynet." Like it's like not like this big moment. Like he just like goes like, "Okay," and like that's what like dooms humanity, right? It's there's moments
Hmm.
in it, but it's not in terms of going up against the other Terminator films. And yeah, like we should circle back to two because yes, Terminator 2 it's in a Indiana Jones pocket of being like these are some of the greatest action movies ever, but they're not talked about enough, right? Like that, like you kind of
Hmm.
can't talk about them enough. Um,
Yeah, it's the shit. What we can talk about is how immediately after Terminator 2, every movie that tried to do Terminator shit didn't involve Linda Hamilton,
mhm.
and it took until Dark Fate for me to realize, embarrassingly so, where I was like,
Yeah,
"Hey, that was stupid. Why did you try that?
yeah.
Like multiple times you tried that. Why did you do that?"
Well, that was also the thing where
She's the movies.
she was gonna be in three, and but she was gonna die, and that's why she said no.
Yeah.
She was like, "I won't do that. That's like disrespectful to the character," which is a smart move, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I do like the idea though that she died and then her grave isn't real; it just has a bunch of guns in it. Like that is a pretty funny idea in Terminator
Yeah,
3.
for her character, that's hysterical. That's great,
But
you know.
there is a sort of like, yeah, it does speak to what what's wrong with the film industry that like, yeah, she's in the highest grossing action movie of all time and is the lead, right? Like, sure,
Hmm.
Arnold, right? Like we saw it for Arnold. He has like a half a dozen lines. He says like 2 dozen lines, right? He doesn't talk a ton. The kid, yes, the
Yeah.
kid's important. Like I'm not going to downplay it, but like Linda Hamilton is kind of the heart of the movies, and it's like she doesn't do a movie at all for like 3 years after this.
Yeah, Jesus
And
Christ.
then like what does she do? She does a psychological thriller you've never heard of starring Richard Dreyfuss. And it's like
Oh my
the
God.
biggest movie she does like after this is like Dante's Peak. And she's not even the lead of Dante's Peak. Like,
What the fuck, man?
yeah. And I do remember people kind of like being iffy on like, is Linda Hamilton really what makes these movies good? Like, I know that was a big point of discussion at one point. And part of it was I think some people thought in a weird way she took the performance too seriously, which is such a funny thing to think, like that's your
Yeah.
complaint. Um, but like it was her idea, right? To be like, yeah, if you knew about the future the way she does, it would destroy your brain. Like, it would
Yeah, yeah.
make
She was
you,
like, I want to come back crazy.
yeah. And that's such a great idea. And it's something that's been copied like so many times, especially like, I mean, like another full
I
circle
was gonna
moment,
say, yeah.
Halloween, 20 whatever, 2018 is that when that came out?
Yeah,
That
yeah. It's totally Sarah Connor.
yeah, 100% it is the like this is what would happen to you if you went through something like this. And it's not a bad idea, frankly. So
No, no, yeah. It's like many of the ideas in the first two Terminators, everything that's been ripped off is not a bad idea.
yeah.
It's like the best idea ever for that particular idea, you know?
And I do think it's a thing of like people rip this
Um,
movie off, and it's like they just kind of it all has the vibe of I wish I made Terminator 2, as opposed to actually trying to tell something interesting. And it's like also like you're never going to be Terminator 2 because you're never going to have a helicopter fly under an overpass, which
yeah.
even
Also, don't make people do that.
no, don't at all. But also, it's one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Like it's heart stopping now, right? Like let alone
Yeah.
I can't imagine seeing it in 1991.
Yeah. Also, one of the most insane budget increases for a sequel
Yes.
ever, because the first Terminator, $6.4 million budget by the end. Terminator 2, anywhere between 94 to $102 million
And I
dollars.
believe the most expensive movie ever made when it was made. Um,
It looks it.
yeah, I think that was well, that was Cameron's thing for a bit. Like it's still kind of true where it's like this True Lies was the most expensive movie ever made when it came out, which people don't really remember because True Lies didn't hit the same way, right? Like it made its money back, but it didn't.
Hmm.
It wasn't like Terminator 2 money. And then Titanic was the most expensive movie ever made when it came out, and then Avatar and Avatar 2. You know,
Yep.
and
And now Fire and Ash.
I think he's good now. I think it's something where I think because he shot those movies back to back, I think Way of Water in a way covered Fire and Ash, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But still
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
very expensive. So
Yeah, the success of Way of Water means that both these movies basically broke even before the third one came out. So,
mhm.
good job.
So
Um,
trying to
yeah, Terminator 2, I guess some quick favorite things about it. All right, let's start. Everything. The opening frame, the subsequent frame. No, I really love that it basically opens with almost like the voiceover feels like metaphysical, you know?
yeah.
Like it's Sarah Connor. This is also why it's a mistake to remove her from the franchise. We're like it's Sarah Connor's story. She's telling it to the audience, you know. I mean, the filmmaking is. I think Andrei Tarkovsky would have liked this one too, because you got stuff like the open road at night, where you're just seeing the front of the road, like just in front of the camera. Like it looks like some Lost Highway shit before Lost Highway comes out.
Yeah.
You know, and it gives it just such a heightened feeling that you don't get from most movies in general, especially not action movies. You know, and again, it's that ambition where it's not just let's do Terminator bigger and better. Let's take these ideas and push them even further. Where that fatalistic like ending of the first movie is like, okay, what if you could break that cycle?
Mm-hmm.
What if by continuing that journey, you could actually make things better? You don't have to resign yourself to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a crazy notion, you know? Like don't stop fighting the good fight. Don't give in to the machinery of it all. And also, Linda Hamilton is fucking unbelievably good in this.
Yes. But
Like,
again, I think this is part of, in terms of like figuring out what makes Cameron, why he works so well for the general public. And I think it's this weird mix he has of, especially it really comes together with Terminator 2. It's like a little bit in Terminator, but it's really in Terminator 2 of he's very good with these very heady concepts, right? That are like very dark and existential in a way, you know? He's thinking of like some sort of heady. I mean, the movie's called Judgment Day. Like it's very deep, but he also understands how, for the general public in 1991, how innately cool Arnold Schwarzenegger on a motorcycle with a leather jacket and a shotgun is, right? Like he just understands that
mm-hmm.
image is cool. He's always, I think that's maybe something that, in my opinion, I think that's maybe something the Avatar films lack, is that, whatever you want to say, I don't think there's anything really cool about Avatar. Not that they have to be, right? Like, not that,
Mm-hmm.
they're, like, I'm not saying, like, but, like, is Jake Sully cool? Like, I'll live with a Jake Sully's fun, and he seems like a
No.
good dad, right? Like, I'll give you all that.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he's less cool.
mm,
It's more that like when the action goes down, they're doing cool shit with
yeah,
it, or like when they're communicating with the planet.
mm,
He himself isn't Arnold on the
mm,
motorcycle cool,
yeah.
you know.
And I just think that like that's something that maybe those movies are missing. Maybe not that they clearly don't need it. They've both made $2 billion. So,
Yeah.
but I think that's maybe a shift he's had. But then the third element is that this is a movie about like mothers, fathers, and sons, right? It is a
Mm-hmm.
movie about like, and not again, not in just a like, isn't the family unit good? It's just a like, what we do affects the next generation, and that's important. And we can learn from the younger generation. You ever see the movie Come On, Come On? You ever see that movie? From like,
Oh, that's the Joaquin Phoenix one,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good movie.
Yeah, and like part of that movie is like, what's it like to like hang out with a kid when you're depressed, kind of like it's it's very much a, when like, kids have like this weird boundless optimism, even if you are John Connor, who's like, my mom's insane, I hate my foster parents, I'm already robbing ATMs, right? Like he's not like an innocent, but he is someone who's like, yeah, but like you can't kill people. It's like that's wrong. And it's very, like even when we get to the point where it's like Linda Hamilton's gonna kill fucking Miles Bennett Dyson, and he's like, we gotta stop her, and the terms like, why? Like that's actually maybe a good idea. And John Connor's like, no, like what, haven't you learned? Like it's killing is wrong. Like he's like, can't understand why the Terminator doesn't understand it yet, right? He doesn't understand why his own mother doesn't understand it. He's like, no, this is like inherent that killing is wrong. And that is such a oddly like, it's so weird. It's such a Pollyanna thing to put in this movie that's like, yeah, and there's going to be like a nuclear holocaust in it. Like there's going to be a scene where like a bunch of children on a playground just like burst into flames, and you know,
A scene that still looks pretty fucking
yeah,
incredible
a scene looks incredible, and also it
and
is.
horrifying.
Yeah, again, I think like when I go like, oh, why was I like so afraid of the apocalypse as a child? I think like Terminator 2 is maybe one of those things of just, oh yeah, like nuclear war seems really bad.
Yeah.
This seems like a bad way to go. Uh,
Yeah.
But like to put those two things next to each other, and I don't know, it probably had a profound influence on me in that worldview of just being like, it's so funny to think about. It's so rare for a movie, even a movie that is ostensibly supposed to be like a feel good movie, right? That's supposed to be like that what we classify as like hope core or whatever the fuck we're saying now, right? Whatever derogatory term
Hmm.
we're using to describe movies that make people smile. Um, how rare it is to just go like, killing is innately wrong.
And then to have the Terminator show up against like a small army of the LAPD
Yeah.
and SWAT team members to then still be fucking awesome. Where he's like, "I told you no killing," and he's like, "Trust me."
Yeah.
And then he doesn't kill anybody, but he still does the coolest shit ever
I mean,
in like
literally,
stopping them in their tracks.
this movie literally is like killing people is wrong, but like corporate terrorism's fine. Like that's
Yeah.
fine. But then again, I'm saying what's very it's think about it. Like how many Disney films are like, yeah, but the villain still has to die in the end, right? Like maybe not
Mhm.
directly through the hero, but it's like just desserts, like they get what they deserved,
Mhm.
and it's like, yeah, the movie that's going to say murder is just inherently wrong in a fundamental way is going to be the sequel to Terminator.
Yeah.
That's insane. An R-rated action movie that's the sequel to Terminator. Like, and it's like, yeah, you're the greatest action movie ever.
And then, oh look, I think there was a certain pushback for like the last decade to James Cameron's like precocious children characters in his sequels. I'm over that. I really like John Connor and Edward Furlong. Um,
All right, all right.
uh,
His
okay,
precocious,
let's get into
his
it.
precocious children. He did it twice.
But yeah, but now he's got a bunch of them in Avatar.
Well, that's what's weird. As someone who is like the ultimate way of water hater, I like the kids. Like I thought the kids were
Yeah,
fine. Like, I was like, yeah, like they're fun. Whatever. I like them more than Jake
yeah,
Sully,
they get the best
honestly.
stuff in the movie.
Yeah. Hanging out with that whale that does poetry or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Payakan,
Sure. When am I gonna be
Payakan.
when am I gonna be able to swim with Payakan at Disney's Animal Kingdom?
I don't know. As of today, you could probably get an AI Payakan going.
Oh, what's really good to bet on right now specifically? AI.
AI?
AI is
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
never been a
As we're
safer,
talking about fucking Terminator 2.
never a better bet than AI right now. We're like, who's that guy who's the head of the fucking AI thing that no one likes, who was just on Jimmy Fallon?
Oh yeah, I don't know his name because he's not important and
Yeah,
people will forget about him to time.
yeah.
But he's a loser, and I guess he can't be a parent without asking ChatGPT what to do.
Very funny
That
thing
kid's
to
gonna like kill
admit.
him.
Very funny thing to admit for like what when you don't know what's going to happen with your child.
Yeah.
Like, could be evidence in your child's lawsuit against you. But
Yep.
anyway,
That won't come back to
but to
haunt
me
him.
it's like, oh, what was the last time like some tech was being shilled on Jimmy Fallon? And it was like, oh, NFTs right before that whole market tanked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this seems normal. Um,
Yeah.
anyway,
I mean, it could be a good omen
sure.
for the haters, us,
No, no, yeah.
not the
I,
people in the
I, I'm
business.
not joking. I do think that Disney being like, we're doing AI things, that's not going to go anywhere. That's going to benefit anyone, frankly. Like,
No,
mm.
no, it's a money pit.
What are these people expecting to
But anyways,
happen? No, really, really, really. Stop for a second. What are these people expecting to happen? Like, genuinely.
it's very unclear.
Like I get that they want to get rid of like workers, like I get that that's the
Hmm.
appeal to shareholders, but what I I I actually had this conversation with someone literally yesterday where I'm like, I kind of realized in all of this AI discussion, people are talking about artists more than they ever have before. Partly because in response to how much no one likes AI, right? Like we're thinking about the people who
Yeah,
make
yeah.
things more than ever. And I think what we've learned is we want people to that people making the thing is part of what makes it important, right?
Yeah.
All right, like let's be legit. Have you seen anything? And you like this is fine to admit. Have you seen anything AI related that you were like, That's kind of impressive"?
Not impressive, but I have been tricked, and I'm not just saying that
No, no,
because I hate AI. Like, I mean, I yeah,
tricked is a negative. So like we're not including that. I'm genuinely asking like have you seen something with AI where you're like, "Huh, good." You can still be morally against it and look at something and go like, "Yeah, that looked good."
yeah. Let me think. I really can't. But to be fair, I have done a lot of blocking on every social media app whenever I see AI bullshit.
Yeah.
Whoever the account is, I'm like block, 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 block. So I haven't seen as much as I used to at this point.
Okay,
So nothing jumps to mind. How about you?
I have filters as well. I think I saw like a rotoscoping tech demo that involved AI that I was like, that actually kind of looks interesting. Like, because like it didn't really, it wasn't like a labor removing thing really. Like it was kind of like, here's a way you could use AI. And I think that was about it though.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, the one I honestly, this is gonna sound weird. The one thing where I was like, I could see AI. This is my original thought. I was like, I could see AI actually doing this. I thought that you might be able to get something out of large language models in terms of interactivity, right? In terms
Oh, okay.
of
Are you? Well, here you go ahead. But I was going to ask a question.
well, like in terms of like a character that can like generate like you can have a conversation with, right? Which I know some people like. There's all these stories
Mm-hmm.
about people being like, "I have an AI girlfriend, she's Chat GPT or whatever the fuck," like all that stuff. And I was, I've engaged with that like a little bit just to see what it is. Like, I'm sorry, like you need to get help if you're falling for Chat
Yeah.
GPT. And I'm not just saying that in terms of like, oh, you're an idiot, you got fooled by an AI. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're really lonely and socially isolated because that's not how human beings interact with each other. Like, it's
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's a thing like once you notice that everything is phrased in a way to get you to keep the conversation going, right? That it is trying to get
Mm-hmm.
more out of you. It becomes impossible not to see. And that to me was like, I thought this would be like the one use for it that like maybe in a text-based video game you could do something. And it's like this is like endlessly generative text game content, right? Like you could do something there. But the engagement I've had with it has been less very unengaging, frankly. Like I was kind of shocked at how little I got out of it in terms of what I was just hoping for, you know. Um
Mm-hmm.
I've had like, you know, like as someone it's like I have better conversations with like fucking like the automated service I need to get my prescriptions refilled than I have with AI. And I find that really interesting that they couldn't even make that work. And I think that to me is why one of the reasons why I'm majorly skeptical of AI, you know? And then again,
Mm-hmm.
I am looking at like these people being like, what are they looking at when they see it? And again, I think it's like they see it replacing the slop and the stuff that is just what's the term? That gets your oh fuck. Whatever that sensation you get like endorphins going, right? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
it just gets that shit. It's like that quick um you know, switch in your head, like that, like you know, like quick jolts, stuff that you get from like gambling addiction, right? As opposed to
Yeah. Yeah.
anything meaningful. I can see that's like all I can see the benefit of, but I just don't see. I don't see where it goes other than that, right? Like it's one where I'm like, I can see
Mm-hmm.
them finding a way to make money doing shit like that. You know, it sucks, but I can see them making money that way. I don't see them replacing all of culture.
No, the I don't think that's even like attempting that, which they're trying to do, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I just don't think it's gonna work. Did you hear about that movie Coyotes
No.
recently that came out?
No.
It stars Justin Long and his wife Kate Bosworth, and they're like a rich couple living in like the Hollywood Hills, that start getting attacked by coyotes in the midst of a wildfire,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it didn't look good, which is one thing, but apparently they used AI to like animate werewolf sequences. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, not werewolf, coyote sequences, excuse me. And I've seen clips of that and how it cuts from like a chase scene to like a coyote snarling or something. And because I watched that out of curiosity, be like, how fucking bad is this? And it was horrible,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it doesn't match the momentum of what they filmed. It doesn't match like
Mm-hmm.
lighting and the environment, and like it's just like whatever. Maybe like these algorithms can generate the perfect version of that sometime,
Mm-hmm.
but like, why not just shoot it normally then? Why waste
Yeah.
time trying to get a prompt to make you happy with what you could have gotten on a day? You know,
Here's the other
it's
question.
like,
Think about how bad all our TVs look.
yeah,
They've never gotten that right. How are you expecting them to make the thing?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when is it going to get good? Like, they never got the TVs to look good, right?
Hmm.
Theoretically, shouldn't my TV look as good as a movie theater? And it's like,
Yep.
what if we made movie
And
theaters
you
look
can't do it.
worse, actually? It's like, that doesn't fix the problem. And
Yeah.
I
Like those giant like $2,000-$3,000 OLED screens look very impressive, right?
yeah,
Lights off, you can have an amazing movie night, like truly great shit. All right, what about is everyone gonna have to buy one of those to look that good?
yeah.
Which still might not, which still won't match the theater experience, you know? Like just being isolated in a room with strangers to share something universal.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's disappointment, like it's more fun to do that than to be home by yourself watching something and being like, that wasn't good. Then you're just left with that feeling by yourself. Congratulations. You know, which again isn't the point of the AI discussion we went on, but that's,
Yeah.
tangential, whatever.
No, I get it. It's, I don't know. I'm just so confused, obviously. Like, I push back on like a lot of the like doom scrolling posts about AI just because I'm like, this still just seems so stupid. And I haven't yet to meet, every now and then I meet someone who's like, I use Chat GPT, right? And that makes a little bit more
Hmm.
sense because it just does a lot of typing for you, right? Like I can
Yeah.
kind
It's
of,
because they killed Google and people are like, yeah.
yeah, like I kind of get that in terms of like how people are trying to use it. But I don't know. It's when I don't know. It's just to me, it's a thing of like people are getting the wrong answers through ChatGPT, and I'm like, yeah, it's true. That was also true of the internet in general. That was also true of Google. Like that's a big problem. Obviously, it's happening. Like I feel like it's just accelerating problems that were already there, right?
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's like you can't just do bad ideas forever and then things work, even for like the top 1%, right? It,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's very. I'm just very confused. So like when Disney's like, we're doing AI stuff, I'm like, yeah, but what are they even doing? Right? Like I just don't see. Like I just see they're gonna fire a bunch of people, and then what?
Yeah. I mean, here's a big one. So like, the Darth Vader voice,
Yeah.
right? Rights signed away for years for whatever AI voice, or whenever Darth Vader shows up, they can just use an AI voice for
Mm.
him now. All right, so is Darth Vader going to be in all Star Wars things?
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could do that, but it probably won't fit very well,
Mhm.
right? Like, so that's a smaller like
Performance has
version of
nothing to.
like,
I've not. You know what? I can say the other thing. I have not seen any voice AI stuff that seemed good or natural anywhere.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've gotten like a couple like if it's like a brief phrase, maybe, but if it's like has to carry a scene, right? I'm like,
Hmm.
the moment it goes to sentence two, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know
Because
this.
like let's say I don't know how it fully works when you have to type a prompt into something,
Mm,
but I'm assuming you can't get a whole performance like give me an Academy Award winning performance for
mm,
this movie I wrote. I need this character to say this, whatever,
yeah.
right? Right? Like just probably an exaggeration, maybe not. I
Mm,
truly don't know. But okay, then like oh that performance doesn't work in this scene. I have to do it again.
mm,
All right, that performance doesn't work in this scene, and then I do it again. Just work with a person, and
yeah.
you'll probably have better results that way because they'll be in front of you.
Mm.
You know, like
Did you see that?
so. What's the point of that?
Did you see the Defunct Land audio animatronic video that he did?
No,
Uh,
I haven't
uh,
yet, but people are sharing that again today.
it's very good, and the last chunk is kind of about AI and like it being incorporated into the parks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I'm like watching it, I'm like, yeah, there's like a limit to this, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's like the best use of it, and even that's not very good, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I'm still like it is one where I'm so baffled, and I just can't think of like anyone being. I just don't get how you're into it if you aren't like just into like the memeing of it, right? Like silly shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Just like what do you get out of it? What is the like? Because you're right about like people basically giving themselves over to like a version of ChatGPT that they're like, this is my significant other now, or whatever. Like that's basically like a psychosis, you
Yeah.
know. And you're again, this is not to insult people. This is like, no, no, no. Like
Mhm.
that's unhealthy. You need psychological assistance.
Mhm.
And like, okay, let's say people are growing up in this, but people are growing up in this world where this is just a norm right now. Like
Mhm.
it's okay to get help for that, you know?
Yeah.
Like genuinely some people don't know any better.
Mhm.
Genuinely children on the internet may not know any better. Some do, and
Mhm.
some don't. You gotta you need to seek assistance for
Yeah.
that. And there needs to be laws implemented for things because allegedly it looks like ChatGPT has like made or guided people to commit suicide before.
Yeah, there's
Allegedly.
that whole element of it. Um, yeah, that's a thing. I mean, that's a whole other can of worms. Like, I think
Mm,
it's just taking advantage of like we live in a very isolated time, and it's
yeah.
but I don't know. I'm just baffled. Like I said, like
And not to be all like oh the power of cinema
mm,
and art can save us, but like spending time in a movie theater, spending time with other people,
yeah, on
even if you don't like introduce yourself to all of them,
mhm.
you know,
Yeah, no, there's
like
I think we all crave this lack like there's like these lack of social spaces I think we all crave, but no one is trying to make it happen. Probably because the
mm-hmm,
people in power are invested in not making it happen to a certain degree,
yeah,
right? Because I think again what you're talking about is AI only really works if you're so socially isolated. The only person you could fucking talk to is an AI, right? And
mm-hmm,
I'm not trying to judge people that are into that, but it's like that's kind of where you have to be. It's like you're either like really young or you're very isolated. And that's
yeah.
not a sustainable business model, frankly. Uh,
No, no,
yeah.
it's not like look, I'm doing more video editing this past year,
Mm,
and a lot of it is just me cramped up in my room and between my laptop and my PC screens. And sometimes I have like a free afternoon or something, and I'm like, oh, like I'm bored. I like let me text some people. And it's like, well, they're not texting back because they're at work
mm,
or they secretly hate me. No, but like then it's like a little lonely. I'm like, okay, well, like now I'm not free because I have a gig that's leading into the evening, and
mm.
that's when most people are off of work or something. Isolation's like a real feeling. It's a real thing you can experience, but don't don't talk to ChatGPT about it. That's not real.
Yeah.
Your feelings are real.
Mm,
ChatGPT isn't.
mm.
Unlike the Terminator, which is real
Well,
and will
to
come for
to
you.
bring it a little bit back, I do think it's partly why we haven't done a good Terminator sequel is a movie like Terminator is such a product of its time, not in like that it's aged poorly, it's just that what we get out of cinema, specifically action cinema, has changed so much, right? it does feel like this is sort of the end of, I was saying like it's sort of the end of the 80s action movie in 91, right? Like I feel like that's sort of the end. Like we get like this is like The Last Boy Scout is this year, but it's kind of also the end of that. Like that movie bombs. And this is Willis. Willis starts like kind of surrendering the action thing. Around this time he does Die Hard with a Vengeance, obviously, but by the end of the 90s he's doing stuff like The Sixth Sense, and that's his big shift. And then we get like by the end of the 90s it's like the Matrix is the thing, right? And after that it feels like we get like an interesting era where action is sort of about the like maximum visual impact, right? In a more stylized way. Does that make sense? I'm probably describing this very poorly.
No, no,
But
no. I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm,
There's more of a focus on, and I think part of this also stems from like the MTV generation of
yeah.
directors that come up. Like
Mm,
you got the birth of Fincher, obviously,
mm,
and Michael Bay and stuff
mm.
like Bay and
Yeah.
Tony Scott specifically with their commercial work,
Yeah, it's like Tony
and
Scott,
music video stuff. Like,
Bay, the rise of the Fast and Furious films, like that goes in one direction. I also think movies like House of Flying Daggers and Curse of the Golden Flower and
hmm
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon fit into that a little bit, where that was going a certain direction. And then we get the post 9/11, grit and realism, the shaky cam type
yeah,
stuff that starts to hit in the 90s. But it feels like it's like a weird diverging path of like now we have two different types of action movies, right? And
hmm
unfortunately they both turn into like a unique kind of slop, right? Like the shaky cam just turns into like a bunch of Taken ripoffs. And
hmm
it's like, how do we hide the fact that we can't actually shoot action? And then the maximum visual impact turns into the superhero genre, which they still, to me now, struggle to make superhero action look very good, right? Which is a weird thing to say
hmm
considering Spider-Man 2 is 2004, right? But it's like they figured out how to make
yeah,
Spider-Man look good. And now it's like we get all these stuff where it's like everyone's just swinging around and punching a big laser in the sky, you know? Um,
hmm
it's not the most engaging stuff ever. And I don't know. It's to me, how do I say this? I don't think the Terminator franchise has a home in any of that, right? Like,
I don't either. I
the,
think the closest you get is the character of Grace in Terminator Dark Fate.
well, yes, like there's
The
in terms of like
yeah.
characterization. I think well, that's it. I think Terminator's characterization is kind of all over cinema. Terminator 2 specifically. I think we start seeing this ascendancy of the family, all that stuff. I think that becomes more of like, oh, you can do an action movie that has heart, right? I think that
hmm
that is also a template. That's why I called Terminator 2 a superhero film. I think that that becomes a template for superhero films, right? Of
Yeah.
just the unit. I'm just more talking about like this sort of industrial action, right? Which Terminator kind of fits
hmm
into. Of like our last fight's going to be in a factory, and there's going to be a lot of bullets flying around, right? And
hmm
I don't think,
Well, it's basically like elemental
yeah,
by the end of that second one too. I
mm,
mean, the first one as well.
mm,
That's more like the
mm,
industrial focus of that, like the
mm,
machinery. Not that the second one obviously has that as well,
mm.
but like with the molten like metal, like and the defeat of the Liquid Terminator, who we didn't even fucking mention him
Yeah, we'll
yet, but
talk.
yeah,
We'll
obviously,
we'll talk a little bit about
yeah,
Liquid
we'll
Terminator,
talk about
but
that. But like that element, I guess that is like a unique expression in and of itself. Like obviously, there's a famous story of like Alien 3 hearing that Terminator 2 ends with a molten lava ending, and they're like, "Oh fuck, do we have to change this?" And they like don't. They reshoot it to make it like dumber, even though like the original ending was fine. Whatever, not the Alien podcast, but um, I guess what I'm saying is like the uniqueness of the stories of Terminators and its characters, like there are still ways they could push that forward. That isn't just like I mentioned the Mackenzie Davis character Grace, and like the imagery that is associated with like super powered protagonists. I guess is that where you're kind of going with that? Like
I don't know. Um,
okay, Well, all that being said, I'll just say like I think there's still ways to evolve that into present day. I don't know what the answers to that like would be, like how to make that
Mm,
like evolve. So I don't blame people for like fucking up Terminator sequels after
mm.
Terminator 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just to me it's something of just like is a big guy running around with a gun gonna be engaging anymore?
Yeah. No,
You
I
know?
think you have to keep pushing that.
Mm.
You have to find new ways to explore like
Well, and
heady
but
sci-fi ideas, basically.
but I don't know. No, because I don't know. This is where I get weird about modern cinema, right? Of just like it
Hmm.
does feel like we're at a weird point where I'm like, has every genre idea been done in terms of like science fiction, right? Like,
Hmm.
have we done all of this stuff? Have we married every emotional beat to a science fiction beat that we can think of? You know, I know that in my heart I know that's not true, but there's a part of me where I'm like, it doesn't feel like there is a place to go with sci-fi action anymore in a weird way.
Hmm.
I like even James Cameron, who does the Avatar films, which are action movies, but it's like they go to space and they might as well be Lord of the Rings, right? Like that, like the world
Yeah.
of the Na'vi and Pandora is a fantasy world. It's a lot closer to something like John Carter than it is Terminator, right? And
Hmm.
now it's like you watch these movies that are just like, yes, like, all the Marvel movies are science fiction movies, but we don't think about them that way. And have we just diluted that to a point, right? And now it's like the other action movies are like, I don't like movies with guys with guns these days because they all look like the fucking Iraq War, which isn't a cool thing at all. And it just
Yeah.
reminds me of like the militarization of everything. Um, and then you have something like I was looking at like the top action movie on Letterbox for the 2020s is Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? Which
Hmm.
is one of those movies where like I really like that movie. I'm not like in love with it as other people are, but I do like it, and I don't get the hate that movie gets. But it is also something where I go, yeah, but where do you go? You don't really go anywhere with that, right? That's kind of a like, okay, you did it. Now, like that's it. Like there's no building off of it, um,
Hmm.
directly anyway. Uh, I think it's a good sign you should try things, but it's not. I don't know, like in a very cynical and broad term, it's not a franchise starter, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I,
Yeah, but I get what you mean. I guess that's why I'm saying like I think Terminator
mm,
could still explore new avenues, like in terms of that iconography, in terms of the character,
mm,
in terms of the concepts. Um,
I,
the way we make movies in Hollywood right now, like that's not happening, and I don't think
mm,
you're disagreeing with that at
no,
all,
no.
obviously.
Well, yeah, but
But
even if I imagine like a perfect Hollywood system, I'm like, I just don't see what we do right now. Um,
oh, let me also say, like, I'm not even preaching that we should do more Terminators.
mm,
James Cameron is allegedly like has ideas for another one now that he has the rights again after
yeah.
Dark Fate. But like, I'm not even clamoring for that. I'm just saying like there probably is something there that people haven't like just been able to do yet. You know,
Well,
someone out there, if not James Cameron, although I'll be real, it probably is James Cameron. Someone has an idea that's like fucking mind blowing
you
of what
say
to do with these
in
concepts.
terms of like action recently, I feel like the best stuff that's like really hit is like got one battle after another, right? And
Hmm.
one battle after another is the action in that movie is like cars driving over hills, or, like
Yeah.
it's a very stripped down like this is you can make this really exciting if you're a good director, right? Um, the other being like John Wick, but John Wick also like kind of feels like an endpoint in a weird way. Like John Wick just feels like
Hmm.
someone took all the stuff that's been going on in, Asian action cinema, direct to DVD action cinema, and just be like, yeah, what if we did it like as best as humanly possible, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
not,
What if you made like those cheap like Hitman movies like good?
yeah,
Hell, what if you made them like poetic?
yeah, 100%. Like
And
I like John
yeah.
Wick 4 in a weird way feels very close to Terminator 2, and then I feel like that is like the end point of a certain type of film, you know? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
but I don't know. I feel like like most genres are just in a weird spot right now. Um, I do think that's partly
Mhm.
why animation is so big. Because animation you can still really do anything, and because cinema's just become so indistinguishable, like action cinema where uh it's CGI action slop. It's like, well, why bother with a movie where there's any human beings in it, right? Why not just go see the cartoon? And I think
Mhm.
that's where you get into the Spider-Verse. Maybe that's what these AI idiots are counting on, that we're just going to not want to see human beings in movies anymore, but they're constantly going for realism, you know? So, I don't know. Uh
Yeah, the realism approach is so ham-fisted and it's such hack shit. I mean, that's the problem with video games right now too. It's like, well, we're ray tracing and look how like textured these faces are. And I'm like, "Hey, is it fun?
yeah. Well,
Do I want to play it?"
when has the
Probably not
realism
right
of
now.
something ever been the defining selling point, right? Like I get that
Yeah.
there's like
It's a
leaps
cool
ahead.
idea when you're like 10.
Yeah, I get there's like leaps ahead in technology, like the bringing back Terminator 2. It's like the liquid Terminator is like this massive like gasp leap ahead in technology, right? Like it is this big. The CGI there is like super impressive. It is a like, wow, I'm seeing something I've never seen before. It was impressive even to me watching as a kid in the late 90s after like a decade of other CGI films, you know.
Mhm.
And but there's it's not like the liquid Terminator is like a realistic thing, right?
Yeah.
And
It just looks fucking
yeah,
awesome.
it looks awesome. And I think we were just again, I think it's part of like why we're bad at language, where we're just you watch something like Jurassic Park and you go like, wow, the dinosaurs look real. And it's like they don't, but they look cool. And there's a lot of movies where stuff looks cool and it's
Mhm.
not necessarily realism. Again, this is where I feel like I'm limited in my discussion points, but I don't know. I'm so baffled. I think like a lot of people as to the direction of cinema currently. Uh and it's just but it just it's like I just can we be wowed by something in the way Terminator 2 wowed us?
I think we can.
And well,
I know Way of Water hater,
well, no,
but
yeah,
I got a very similar experience watching Way of
I
Water.
mentioned Way of Water where I saw that in theaters, and like I was reacting to the effects in it like water was actually hitting me, right? Like I remember having
Hmm.
that reaction, but I don't get more out of those movies than that, right? Like
Hmm.
I just wasn't super excited, I guess. Uh and then again, it's like, okay, well, what did it take to make that? And it was like $400 million. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm someone where yeah, I don't know. It's Terminator. It's I think that's probably why Terminator has aged kind of weird. Where it's like we all kind of recognize that it's good, but we don't talk about it because it's just like we're just there's no space for a Terminator 2 anymore, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Like, and it's not just because it's an R-rated action movie. Like it's more complicated than that. Uh, and I'm not
Yep.
great at pointing out what that is, but it's something that like I think about sometimes. Same with Indiana Jones. It's like
Well,
Raiders of the Lost Ark is like it plays as good today as it did in fucking 1982, like 1981. Like it's, but is there a place for it now? And I don't think there is. What do we do? I don't know. Like I'm in a and I also the other element of this, and this is I guess the thing I've been ignoring, is how much we breathe. I think the video game genre kind of like swooped in and took a lot of the thunder of this type of stuff, right? Like
yeah. I mean,
big
the nemesis from Resident Evil, for example, is like is
mm,
kind of a Terminator
yeah.
in Resident Evil
But
3.
also
Like it's
like
going after you the whole time. Then there's a big showdown.
are you going to see a better action movie than just sitting with your bros on Xbox Live just blowing the shit out of each other in fucking Battlefield or
Yeah.
something? Like you're not going to see a better action movie than that, right? And no one's talking about I'm sure some idiots talking about the graphics, but it's not about the realism. It's about just being able to play with your friends, you know?
Hmm.
And then again, like with
Yeah.
Raiders end up becoming like a template for an entire genre of video game, right? Like, It's,
Mhm.
we're doing those Uncharted games until that studio decided, hey, let's get like really serious and make the worst games ever. But
They're good. They're good and fine, and people take them too seriously. In
everyone is
yeah.
on crack. Everyone is on crack because
No, but I mean that's a good point. Like talking about the space, like even video games getting into like these are serious art forms.
yeah,
Also, we're never gonna try anything that's not just grounded realism anymore. That's how you know we're serious.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's what I come to video games for.
Well, yeah, now the two things,
The realism.
the two modes of video games right now are like the most over melodramatic games possible that are technically action adventure, but they're like, wouldn't it be bad if you killed a good person? And it's like, okay, thanks, Last of Us. Um, and and then like gambling machines. Like those are the two speeds of video games right now. Right? I mean,
Yeah, a little bit.
uh
And you know what? I didn't have written down, but I think we should talk about just scrolling through like the franchise. Um, talking about like just how ambitious every step of James Cameron productions are. Um, even the T2 3D Battle Across Time
I
ride.
did open that. I have that page open because I knew we were going to talk about it. Um,
Um, that thing introduces two new Terminators to the
yes.
franchise,
Mhm.
and the design one is like actively insane. It looks like a liquid spider,
Yeah.
and the other one is like the T-800 but
Mhm.
with bigger guns and Gatling guns and shit. And it's like, yeah, man,
It was
go
one of
for
the
it. Just
most.
fucking go.
It was one of the most ambitious rides ever made. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of embarrassing that it's gone. I don't know why it's gone. Um, it it got replaced by the Bourne Spectacular, which is such an awesome experience at Universal Studios Florida. It doesn't even have its own Wikipedia page. Um,
I saw the Universal Hollywood one.
mm.
I went to that. It was cool.
A theme park attraction based on the Bourne films, the Bourne Spectacular opened at Universal Studios Florida in June 30th, 2020. Maybe that was a reason why no one's talked about it. The attraction combines
Hmm.
live actors, special effects, cutting-edge technology to create an immersive theater experience that simulates Bourne on a high-stakes chase. The show features stunts, fight choreography, physical set pieces, cars, and a large-scale screen. Julia Stiles reprises her role from the films. I remember they had to do that because she died in the one movie.
Yeah, and
Anyway,
they're like, "Oh, don't worry, like I actually survived. It was all
yeah,
part of a plan." And
and
it's like, "Yeah, I would have rewritten that movie too."
and it's like, yeah, which that description does sound very similar to what Terminator 2 3D was, but it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, but there's no fun in that. Like, what is like? There's no robot in the Bourne ride, right? So I don't know why. Yeah, why they got rid of that. I don't understand. Like, that's a weird one to me.
I don't know. I wonder if it's like rights things too, like why they removed
Yeah,
it
you
from
know what? Maybe
Universal.
because because the Terminator rights are all fucked up, and
Yeah.
I could see though it being one where they just cut a deal with James Cameron to bring it back. I could totally see that. Um,
Yeah.
but like Arnold like comes off the screen, and that like they have a guy that looks like Arnold that would run around the theater and would like walk
Yeah.
behind you. It was wild. Um,
Yeah. And I remember like it ends with like him walking up the stage and like, John's not ready to lose him again or something. He's like,
yeah,
"Don't worry, I'll be back." Right? Like that's how it
yeah.
ends. And then a big explosion
But this is
happens.
also like I think that ride closed and this new stuff opened during like the sort of somewhat forgotten flop era of the Universal parks that was happening, where it's like, the Despicable Me ride, which whatever, it's Despicable Me, but like that's like there's like a weird run where they do like Transformers the ride 3D being the best ride you do in a couple years is not a good sign, right? And
Hmm.
that is a good ride, but it's also just like a copy of the Spider-Man ride. But then they do the Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon. Remember that fun ride?
Oh no, I don't.
You never seen that?
No, I feel like I'm not missing out though. I got
Uh,
to be
But
honest.
think about this. Think about how big Jimmy Fallon was for them to be like, let's build a whole ride around him. you like race through New York, and there's all these references to the show, and I don't understand any of them because I don't know what his
You're
bits
not a
are.
big Jimmy Fallon fan?
Believe it or not, no. The only cool thing is that the actual attraction is interesting because it's like a theater, like like the auditorium seatings you have at a theater. It's like, what if that moves like a motion simulator? Like, it's actually kind of cool. But the ride is looking at a giant screen, and Jimmy Fallon is racing you through New York
That's
for some reason,
that sounds like a nightmare.
and he's like taunting you. Like, Jimmy Fallon is not fun enough to be like, I don't want Jimmy Fallon taunting me. Gonna be honest.
I don't want Jimmy Fallon anywhere near me.
Not really, no. Also, like, there's the sad, like, in the waiting area, they have like booths for like all the Tonight Show hosts, and there's the sad little Conan shelf of the year and a
Oh.
half that he did. And then they did what was it? They opened that Harry Potter Gringotts section. I know people like that, but I didn't. I think that area sucks. That ride's bad, and they got rid of the Jaws ride to build it. I was thinking they were getting rid of all these good
Oh,
rides.
really?
Yeah, yeah, they got rid of because like the Jaws ride, it was like massive because it was this huge boat ride, so they had to get rid of it to build a new Harry Potter land, and they replaced it with the worst Harry Potter ride. So uh,
Boo.
yeah. Escape from Gringotts, it sucks. I think that was one just to have like an excuse to be like, these actors are getting older, we got to put them in a ride, right?
Hmm.
Because the other issue's
Yeah.
been recently they did the fucking Hagrid's motorbike adventure, which does rock as a ride. It's actually a really, it's like that's like okay, they're back. I think it was like the first one they did that was like really good in a while. But like they had to get fucking poor Hagrid. What's that actor's name? Just passed away.
Rupert Harris or
No,
something, right?
Robbie Coltrane. It's like the
Robbie
last.
Coltrane, Rupert Harris. What the fuck?
It's like the
Robbie
yeah.
Coltrane.
It's like the last thing Robbie Coltrane did, and it's like, oh man, he
Oh,
looks old, and it's sad. Like, and they just have him shuffle out to explain how the
that's a
ride works,
shame.
and then they opened the Fast and Furious ride, which is a slow moving tram ride, where there's just a big screen around you the whole time. And it
No.
was so poorly received. They're about to open up a roller coaster in with the same name basically in Hollywood, and it's one of those where like if that hits, they're just gonna retheme this ride to that roller coaster, right? Like
Uh
because
huh.
it's notoriously like one of the worst received rides of all time. So
Hmm.
have you seen images of that ride? The Hollywood Drift, I guess it's called. Uh,
No, no, I haven't.
it's like it's like if fucking you get launched at like 72 miles per hour and your car spins. So, because you do that drifting that they do. Looks kind of intense.
Oh no. Okay.
Uh,
Well, I'm sure no problems will arise there.
yeah, I mean, it's only an Intamin ride. They don't have any problems. There's an inside joke for you people who know roller
Yeah, I was
coasters.
gonna say, like, oh, am I supposed to know the deep history of the
Here's
Intamin
here's
rides?
the thing. Intamin built the Hagrid ride and they built the Velocicoaster at uh Islands of Adventure. And like two of the best roller coasters I've ever been on. They're both amazing. They both individually broke down twice while I was waiting in line for them. So
Ouch.
that's Intamin's reliability.
All right. Okay, I want to backtrack a little bit to a Terminator character that we haven't discussed at all. Clearly, one of like the highlights of the franchise, despite minimal screen time. Do
Babu
you know who I'm
Frick.
talking about?
Babu Frick.
No, no. This is my Babu Frick. Um, Earl Bowen's
Yes.
Doctor Peter Silverman.
Yeah, it's they got him in fucking Terminator 3, which was funny.
Yep. Do you can you comprehend how upset I was that he wasn't in Terminator Salvation? Because that was a movie that I convinced myself I loved
Hmm.
as like the third best in the franchise for like a solid 6
You
months.
know what?
But my one big hangup was no Earl Bowen.
I think a lot of people were like, it's good actually, partly because that was the era where they kept being like, they're going to do a new Mad Max movie, and then they didn't do it. Like, I think once Fury Road came out, people were like, we don't need Terminator Salvation anymore. Like that's the one
Yeah.
thing it felt was that it was doing like post-apocalypse when people weren't totally doing it, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
the two movies that I think quote unquote hit at the time, and my confession is that I actually do kind of like Salvation, despite it not being very good. Like I like the idea of it much more than the executions. But it's that, and then Resident Evil 3
oh yeah,
Extinction.
yeah, the good Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, Russell McCulley,
Mhm,
Highlander,
mhm,
Razorback, awesome director.
yeah,
Um,
and more importantly, not
but
directed
yeah.
by the biggest hack in Hollywood.
Well, anyways, I liked Earl Bowen so much. Like, it was so much fun because I saw Terminator 1, 2, and 3 in succession on that afternoon with
Oh,
my
that's pretty
dad.
fun. Yeah.
So it was fun to see him be like the other
Well,
character
wouldn't
popping up
I
in these.
actually
So,
thought about
yeah.
this when Salvation was coming out? I thought about the same thing. Where it's like, wouldn't it be funny if he showed up as like a post-apocalyptic warrior? Like he's just gonna be there. Like he's just gonna be like, yeah, like
I didn't think warrior, but I was like, oh, he's got to be like a doctor or something in the
I
future, you
I
know?
just thought that being like after being like, okay, Terminator, I thought she was crazy. And then it's like, oh, I actually saw one, and then I thought I was crazy. And then after that, it's like, oh, and then the world ended. And it's like, oh, now I'm definitely gonna fight the robots. Like I just feel like that would be his natural arc, right?
That would have been amazing. No, he gets the line, come with me if you want to live.
100%. Yeah, it would be.
I
It
would
would.
have cheered.
That's the one though, and this is something where I don't know how true it is, but like, didn't like Salvation to go to that one? That had like massive reshoots, right? Like
Mm.
they really reshot it, and part of it was there the this is stuff I'm going off of like internet rumors from like over 15 years ago, right? So I apologize how accurate or inaccurate this is. Um, but I believe there was a moment where it was going to end with John Connor, sorry, not John Carter, John
Yeah,
Connor, Christian
wrong
Bale,
John.
getting shot and dying essentially. And the Sam Worthington human cyborg hybrid person was gonna like put his brain like in his body in some way, like they were gonna combine. And that was gonna be like, oh, and that's how Connor actually beat the machines was that he was part machine. I remember that like that at one point that was gonna be the ending of Salvation, and I
Yes,
guess it did,
that is
and
true.
I guess it didn't test very well, or the studio got scared.
Yeah, I don't know if it was exactly the brain thing, but yeah, he was gonna be like part Terminator, which like um, which was gonna be like the thing. This is the new trilogy now, you
Yeah,
know.
but in the end, it was gonna
Um,
be like in the theatrical cut, it's like his heart. They still kind of do it, but it's more just like a physical
yeah,
thing. But there was gonna be there was gonna be more of a sci-fi element.
yeah, he gets the Terminator's heart at the end, played by Sam Worthington, our
Mhm.
boy, the James Cameron's tangentially related boy at this
Wasn't it?
point.
It's an
Um,
embarrassingly stacked cast for that movie, where it's like Christian Bale, Sam Worthington, Anton Yelchin, rest in peace, Bryce Dallas Howard, right? Um,
mm-hmm,
I guess Common's in there. Common's fun. Um,
yeah,
Helen Bonham Carter was the voice of Skynet, apparently. Uh,
yeah.
Ironside was in it at one point. Michael Ironside. Also,
Yeah, they totally shot him out in like 2 days
yeah,
because he's in the submarine the whole time or whatever.
here's something that they do. They started doing that was dumb. Um, that like now every Terminator looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like they started doing that with Salvation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when the first movie sets up that like no, there were different looking Terminators, right? Like they all looked different. And they also there's a line specifically about like they initially looked really fake and started looking more and more real over time, and they don't even
Mm-hmm.
bother with that in Salvation. Uh,
No, there are different types of Terminators in Salvation. And I actually, this is something I really like in the movie. Again, more conceptually than execution. But there's like the big Transformer Harvester ones. There's the motorbike ones. Like, this is obviously a response to
but
Transformers
so,
with shit like that.
but if look from what I remember, frankly. I remember a lot of the imagery that they use in it was stuff that was just in the other Terminator films. They just made it like bigger and more actiony. Like I don't think they really brought
Yeah.
anything to it. Um,
No, and then the big like disappointment for me was like, oh, they're not using like laser guns and shit.
yeah.
Like
Uh,
it's just like, oh, it's what if the apocalypse happened to us now and we didn't advance to the Terminator times. And again, it's like that gritty, realistic approach that kind of like plagues a lot of stuff nowadays. This is kind of the birth of it after Dark Knight and Batman
yeah, I mean,
Begins and Casino
they must have
Royale, especially.
thought they had a hot hand because it was the year after fucking Dark Knight, right? Like they must have thought like this is gonna be
Yeah,
so fucking big. They really, I remember them betting
yeah,
on it to the point where until like literally like last month, the movie theater I go to when I want to see something on like an IMAX screen had an arcade machine themed to Terminator Salvation. It was still
yeah.
there. Like
Some of those are still around
no,
too.
yeah, I think there's still. I mean, that's a lot of that stuff. Like the Alien 3 one is also hung around because it's just like a big gun. Like I know that it's still popular with a lot of people. But yeah, it
Yeah,
was just they really bet a lot on this. The problem was they got McG to direct this.
I
Uh,
was waiting for that shoe to drop. Yeah.
yeah. So this is like McG in that era of like I mean literally McG did like the Charlie's Angels movies and they're like, okay, you can have a career, I guess. And he did We Are Marshall, which was like his one attempt at a drama, and it's one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen. Have you seen We Are Marshall?
I did. Do you
Yeah.
know why?
Why?
Because
Did
at the
you?
height of Lost's powers over me, I was
Uh,
like, "Oh, Matthew Fox is in this. I want to
uh,
watch that." And I was
oh
like,
no.
"Oh, this is not good."
Yeah, no, not good at all. That's the weird era where Matthew McConaughey is in movies, but they're all bad, but we still know who he is as a result. So
Yeah.
by the time he does True Detective, we're like, yeah, we like Matthew McConaughey, even though he wasn't in anything
Yeah.
good for like a decade.
Yeah.
Uh, Nick G gave this really embarrassing interview to Entertainment Weekly before Terminator. 'Cause I used to read Entertainment Weekly, and I remember him being like,
Hmm.
he was literally like, he was like so defensive of just being like, "Don't worry, guys, the old Mick G is dead." He literally said that. I remember him saying, "The old Mick G is dead. This is a new Mick G who's doing Terminator Salvation. Like, you don't have to worry." Which is like a really bad way to
Oh.
try and sell your movie.
Yeah. That's kind of embarrassing.
And I also think this is around the time. Do you remember this? He was going to be the producer, and he shot the pilot for the what was gonna be the American version of Spaced, the Simon Pegg show, the British show. Um, Simon Pegg, Jessica Stevenson. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know Spaced.
Yeah,
But I didn't know he shot a
he
pilot
shot a
for
pilot,
yeah.
and this is in the era where I only know this stuff because I was following Edgar Wright on MySpace at the time. And Edgar Wright is like, yeah, Hot Fuzz. We just did Hot Fuzz. I'm really excited to do this thing called Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I'm sure it'll be a big hit. And it wasn't. Um, and he's like, yeah, they're doing a remake. None of us are involved. They called it Mick Spaced because of Mick G. Um,
Oh.
and I do remember Edgar Wright giving an interview, I think to Kevin Smith around that time, where he said, because like Edgar Wright expressed disappointment. And he was also like, also, they're giving me credit for it, and I only directed it. It's like it was Pegg and Stevenson's show. So like he's like they deserve more credit. And I guess Mick G called him
Hmm.
up at one point, and Mick G uh, said to Edgar Wright, look, I get it. I'd be pissed if someone was remaking Charlie's Angels, which is
Oh man.
very funny.
So you don't think he's like a vulgar auteur?
No, I feel like what was there was that Charlie's Angels movie from like there was like Girl Boss Charlie's Angels like 2 years ago, right? Like 4 years ago, 5 years
Yeah,
ago, 8 years
yeah.
ago, whenever that was, like that no one liked. Everyone hated it. And
Hmm.
when that came out, I was like, we're gonna get revisionism on those Charlie's Angels movies, right? Because they're like poppy, and like there's
Yeah.
stuff to it, and that didn't really happen. So I don't think McGee's in that vulgar. Because I mean, what else has he done? He's like, This Means War, 3 Days to Kill. Like I think the biggest thing
No,
he's done in
but
recent years are those babysitter movies, which I don't actually know anyone that really likes them. Like I know they're
no,
popular,
they
and
they were just popular.
I feel
Yeah.
like people will throw them on, being like, "Whatever, I got nothing else to watch." But I don't think anyone really likes them. I've never seen it. She's like a devil worshiper, right?
I saw the first one, and yeah, I think it's the babysitter invites her friends over, and then they're like sacrificing someone to Satan or something, and then the kid she's babysitting who has a crush on her, like, has to try to survive the night. Like I've read that original screenplay, and it's not like amazing, but and you can see inklings of it in the movie, which is awful. This is not me defending the sanctity of the babysitter franchise, just like there's this interesting idea in there. It was written by Brian Duffield, who's like a genre guy. He was like a hot spec saleist last decade a lot. Where the kid, like, whenever he confronts a member of the group, he's also confronting something about his own insecurities, and it's like, okay, there's like Brian Duffield wrote this with like a reason. Like there's like a story here.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like mind-blowingly like original or outlandishly great. It's like, okay, there's character, there's arcs, there's a good solid narrative drive. And then McGee's like, McGee's it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I get the setup. It's like, what if your hot babysitter was like evil, right? Like that's a setup, you know? And that's like
Yeah,
a
and
very
then yeah, you
like
have to. It's about a kid learning to take care of
yeah,
himself,
it's a yeah, like that
basically.
makes perfect sense for a movie, right?
Hmm.
But it's like, yeah, not there's nothing I don't hear anyone really going to bat for it. So
No, no,
I don't think McG vulgar tourism is in the cards. Although I guess he
no,
produced
no.
like the OC and shit. Like I guess that's his real
Uh,
legacy. But
uh,
um
I know a lot of people love those Charlie's Angels movies, and I appreciate that they have a certain aesthetic. And there you go.
there's a certain I
Um,
gotta say, like
you know
like
what?
my whole thing with that is there's a certain like I don't know. There was a certain type of like
No.
women action movie for a little bit where they were like, we're making these women dress sexily to empower them, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, but it's like totally for the male gaze, you know? And
Yeah, it's definitely it leans that way for me.
I'll say this, I don't mind, like, if you're like, I want a movie where sexy women beat the shit out of people. I'm like, that's fine. But like, what are
Yeah.
you patting yourself on the back for with it? That's where I go like, ugh, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, all the top reviews on Letterboxd are positive. So, um, actually, Lucy Liu's great. I like Lucy
Um,
Liu, but she's good in everything.
yeah, Lucy Liu rules.
And Crispin Glover's in it
Uh,
explicitly as inexplicably as creepy thin man. That's his character's name. Uh,
well,
he steals women's hair and sniffs it.
McG, everyone.
And Tim Curry is the fake
Um,
out villain. I guess that's when I first noticed Sam Rockwell. Um,
oh, in that one?
yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Also, that's
I
the
don't
movie where
remember him in the movie.
he's the villain.
Okay.
I guess this
I
is
guess I should rewatch
I
him.
guess this is why people like it because he's kind of like a Mark Zuckerberg type. It's like 2000. He's like a tech guy, and it's like, um, he's like, yeah, they're stealing my technology to like spy on people, but then it's like, oh, but he wants to use it to spy on people, and but for a specific revenge plot that doesn't really make any sense. But
Hmm.
uh, and Bill Murray was such an asshole in it, they replaced him with fucking Bernie Mac for the sequel. So,
Doesn't Lucy Liu beat him up too? Like
uh,
not in the movie.
they're like famously they got into a fight on the set of the movie. Like it was one of those like back in the day, like it was like such a big blow up. It got like reported in the trades, which I don't think really happens that much anymore, unless like someone gets fired. Which I do believe the last time that happened was fairly recent, where Bill Murray got fired from that movie that Aziz Ansari made or whatever. What was that fucking movie?
Oh, Oh, he was in it?
He was gonna be in it, and then like he did something on set. I don't know if the details ever came out, but I guess he was such an asshole they fired him. Like he was just being
Well,
bad. Um, don't worry, he was still in
yeah.
Quantumanium.
Oh yeah, and that's when like the real shit was coming out too.
Yeah,
And everyone was like, and then he stopped appearing in the trailers.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like probably a good call.
They must have thought that was such a get at the start, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
just we got, you know what? Look,
Yep.
he's not even on the poster. That's crazy.
Yeah. You know what I just discovered?
Mm.
There was a Terminator Salvation Machinima
Well,
series.
yeah, I think I messaged you about this. Um, it's starring Toby Turner. Um, Tobuscus.
What?
Yeah, I think did I message you about this? Uh,
Wait, no. What? I'm like losing my mind because
oh
I don't
wait.
see him at all
All
in
right,
like
no.
the cast
All right.
list. Holy fuck.
All right. I'm confusing two things. I apologize. Uh,
Okay.
this is how
My
bad.
heart sank, and I don't even like this movie that much.
This is how bad the Terminator franchise. Because this is at the time, whatever company had this, they did the Machinima thing. They also produced the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which we don't really need to discuss, but was a show that existed.
Wait. Finish your thing, but we got to go back to that. Sorry, continue.
The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yes.
Okay, what do you have to say about it?
That's a good show. What the
Oh,
fuck?
I I
It
bet.
goes on a little too long. It has some problems with like being on not cable because then they got to do a bunch of filler episodes
Is it
because
a
they have to drag out.
is it a CW show? Did CW do that?
No, it was on Fox.
Oh, okay, I saw like the first. I remember watching like the entire first season and not hating it, but like it didn't grab me essentially.
Yeah, that was kind of like, oh, this is Terminator 3 for me. Like immediately.
Okay, I don't know. I had a thing where I didn't really
Yeah,
engage
there's a
with it.
bunch of awesome science fiction shit in that show. And a big part of that is because the showrunner is my boy Josh Friedman, who I brought up a bunch of times on a bunch of different things. He rules as a writer. Anything interesting in the Fantastic Four movie that just came out is probably from his drafts. Um, and he gets the
All
job
right, no
to
offense,
co-write or at least story write on a Dark Fate eventually
no
because of
offense
this.
to Josh Friedman, but he does like it feels like every movie he works on, it was like, yeah, he's great with, but there's like an asterisk to the show. Like there's like no offense to the guy. Like
Yeah.
I've actually seen him in interviews. He just seemed pretty chill, but like I feel like every show he gets is like, yes, his thing was good, but right, like he did like a first draft on Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Like stuff
Yeah,
like
it
that.
changed significantly
Yeah,
from my
yeah.
understanding. I don't know what the changes are there,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah, I think he was very open about
Um,
being like he wrote it and Spielberg was like, "Yeah, I'm going in a different direction." Like he was very open about that.
mhm,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. It's very funny to be like, "Yeah, it went on a little too long," and it's Sarah Connor Chronicles is 2 seasons. So,
And when I say like it went on too long, I guess I mean like it wasn't a show that was very well designed for the
yeah,
22 episode seasons that I
that's
crave.
what I think.
Because that first season, I remember being like week after week, I'm like, this is fucking
mm,
nuts. Like I can't believe they're doing this on television.
mm.
And the second season starts that way too. And then I'm like, all right, we got a chunk of episodes in the middle here where I'm like, I don't know what we're doing anymore. And then the end of the season sets up this fucking awesome third season premise where you're gonna have like half the cast in the future, half the cast in the present.
Mm.
Like, oh fuck, this is the Empire Strikes Back level shit. And then it's canceled,
Mm. Well, that
which is
setup
par for the course.
works so well for Heroes season two.
Okay, well, Hero season 2 had a lot of
Yeah.
problems,
Well,
and
I will
it
say
makes sense for Terminator to
yeah,
do
no, it
that
does.
plot.
It does. But I'm just saying, Terminator, this Sarah Connor Chronicles probably is one of those things that maybe would have benefited from the streaming era, right? Of just the 10 episode seasons. You know, not every show needed to be. I missed the 22 episode season, obviously. Certain shows,
Hmm.
like Star Trek, really should have that. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
certain TV shows would really benefit from it. But that's probably one where, like, yeah, there's probably only enough Terminator to do a 10 episode season, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, especially because like TV couldn't do action the way you can nowadays.
Yeah.
Like you have the occasional hit show. Like 24 was notorious for like action movie like scale budgets for episodes and stuff like that. But I remember like even the first season, which I really love of Sarah Connor Chronicles. Like, oh fuck, this SWAT team, they're going into this building. They don't know there's a Terminator in there. Oh my god. What? Oh shit. Shit's going down. And then they cut to like a SWAT team member falling into a pool and they're like, "Oh fuck, it's going down." And we're staying at the bottom of the pool as more bodies fall into it and I'm like, "Oh. Oh, we're not leaving the bottom of the pool as everyone dies." But okay. All right. Well, you know.
Hey, whatever.
It was still cool, but man, I kind of wanted some shit. You know, I wanted
Yeah.
to see some shit happen.
We're a couple years
And
away from fucking like Hannibal being on cable, right? Like,
yeah, yeah. There's an episode in season 2 where like all the characters, because it's an ensemble show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. All of them have like a massive showdown in a city in Mexico, I think, and they're all going like against the one like primary Terminator baddie that they can't stop. And they go like all out there finally, and I was like, all right, so you could do it. And it's like in the middle of the season,
well,
so it's
at least
like,
you did it.
what happened there? What happened, guys?
All
Anyways,
right,
I'm a big fan. I know it's got a big cult following too.
Diego, what's machinima?
Oh yeah, it was machine cinema, and it was when you would take video game footage and start building a narrative out of it
Again,
by having voiceovers.
more evidence that AI is bullshit. Because like we were already doing
Yeah,
machinima, right? Like, and it's so much better to just be
yeah.
like, what if we
This
took
is how you get like,
like what if you took Quake models and just made a movie out of them, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, Skibbity Toilet or whatever is
yeah,
like machinima,
yeah,
basically. Like
it's
they're taking, those valve models and stretching them across toilets or whatever,
there's a
and
whole
it's
like
clearly a big hit.
yeah, there's a whole like model of the like specifically around like Valve and Half-Life for machinima, right? Partly because
Hmm.
I think Valve didn't really copyright that stuff. Like they were like, well, we'll let you do it, you know? Um,
Yeah, isn't the whole thing with like when they released the orange box and whatever their free like map maker world
yeah,
maker
yeah, the Source
game was
Engine. And
called?
so,
I
well, yeah,
forget.
they put Gary's mod in there, which is like a free open
Gary's
area.
mod.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there was a
Which is
whole
very cool. Like it still is very cool.
there was a all right. One, this is kind of sad. Uh, there's you know like how there's Wikipedia where like 1992 in movies, right? Like there's a Wikipedia page for it.
Yeah,
There's 2004 in Machinima, 2005 in Machinima, 2006 in Machinima, 2007 in Machinima, and then nothing more. And
yeah.
that's a little sad.
Uh, I remember like when Red versus Blue was like really taking
Yeah.
off. Do you remember
Again,
Red versus
yeah, yeah.
Blue? For
Like,
people that don't know Red versus Blue, it's the Halo machinima that evolves with each game, and there's ongoing narrative. It started as a comedy series, then it becomes like action comedy, then like action sci-fi, and then veers back into comedy. I tapped out after like 10 seasons.
yeah, Diego, how
Um,
many seasons did Red versus Blue last?
I think it had like 23 or something crazy.
19 plus 6 miniseries and one film.
Fucking hell.
Nearly.
Is the one film reconstruction or something?
I have no idea. I just saw one film listed. Um,
Okay, because I remember one season was like boxed as like an individual movie
huh.
one time, and I
Rest.
actually bought it. I might still own it
No,
somewhere.
this is it's called Restoration, and it came out in 2024.
No idea what that is.
Mhm.
After my time,
So yeah, well, that's the thing is that like it went
but
on
I remember like when
way longer than
that
we
show was
thought.
really popular online. Yeah, it lasted a long time, but I remember like, oh wow, we're gonna do this with video games in the
Mm,
future. Like we're gonna
yeah.
be able to tell stories within these stories the way they did.
Mhm.
Well, folks,
Well, I think they ran
it didn't
into
really happen.
they ran into the problem of being like they didn't own Halo, right? Like you couldn't they couldn't really make. Although they did build a production studio off of it, right? Like those guys,
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth. And then they were like, well, now we're going to do our own thing, which was Ruby, the animated show.
Yeah, which I've
Which
not seen. But they got like they worked with Halo like
Yeah, yeah.
marketing campaigns and everything like that for a while
Well, no, it
too.
was basically propaganda for that game series, right? Like I watched Red versus Blue before
Yeah.
I really knew anything about Halo, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just how it is. Like, and yeah, it lasted way longer than you probably realize, and there's almost 400
Yep.
episodes of it. Um, and yeah, it was massive. It's pre-YouTube. Like, that's crazy to think about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, it was a whole genre of film was the machinima thing. I gotta say,
Yep.
in the see also section of machinima, um, it's like years of machinima and also Overwatch and pornography. There's an entire Wikipedia page dedicated to that.
Oh. Oh. Well.
My cat's crying
You
right next
know,
to the thing. But
Machinima had infinite possibilities.
you know what?
Um.
I'm gonna be honest. Overwatch never did it for me.
No.
I don't know. Like, let's be honest here. Like, what are you thinking, Diego?
Oh, about like machinima porn?
No, well, no, I don't. You don't have to be porn. You don't have to go all the way. But like, in terms of like the attractiveness of the Overwatch characters, maybe it's because I was an adult when it came out. But like, I don't know. Like, I can find a video game character attractive, but like Overwatch was kind of like, yeah, whatever. Right on.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for me. I'm realizing like some people are like, oh man, that character's hot, and I'm like, they're not real. Like I don't know. Like I'm not trying to be prudish or anything
I
like
know.
that.
I
Because I was a teenage boy, I was definitely like, hey, this character's hot.
could be
Like
a
back then.
that can be a barrier. The realness of someone can be a barrier to finding them attractive. I don't think that's that weird.
Yeah, like because I on social media you see like in the for you tabs of Blue Sky and or Twitter or whatever, and people are like, oh, who's the hottest like comic book character? And I'm like, I don't know. They're not real. Like, how do you compare something that's not
Well, yeah,
real?
that kind of
Like,
gets weird from, I don't know. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about that more than I probably ever have in this moment.
you know. Or I've complained about this before,
Hmm.
but like with the Insomniac Spider-Man games, there's that big group of fans that are like, Mary Jane's not sexy, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, like
Actually, you know what? Now that I think
one that's a
about
real
it,
person they're modeled after, so maybe that's just rude if you say that,
hmm,
but also, what are we doing here?
maybe this is the shift where I'm like, because I'm definitely somewhere where I'm like, yeah, I can find a fictional character attractive, but it's also like, it's so personality based, in my opinion. Maybe that's just me. Like, if like a vibe, like I'm like, yeah, I like that character's vibe, right? I'm not going like, yeah, I need the boobs to be something, because that's where I'm like, yeah, that part's not real.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I know there's always like the controversy, because like gamers are always like, they made the butt look less like a butt. I don't know. I don't understand what they're saying, but they get really upset about female characters' butts in the trailer versus the final product, which is a very strange thing to notice so quickly. But uh it's yeah, like like people that were like like people are like they find like female Commander Shepard hot, right?
Uh
But I'm like, Commander Shepard's not real at all. Like
huh.
that's the player character, you know? That's you.
Yeah. Well, here to
You know who
give
is hot?
one
Who is
to
hot
the
is
to the video
Garrus.
game simps.
Garrus is hot in Mass Effect, and he's like a fucking what even is he? He's like a fucking prawn or something. What the fuck is Garrus?
Oh, what is the Turian? He's
Yeah,
a
I
Turian. I
know they're
can't believe I remember
I know
that.
they're Turians, but like, what is he like? I'm trying to think of like what to compare him to. Like,
I don't know, but to give one to the video game simps, I will say if you could find the Commander Shepard you play as hot, I know it's mostly the fem shep. No one really
yeah,
cares about the male shep, but then maybe that's like it's like loving yourself in a way.
mm.
It's finding yourself attractive.
It has nothing to do with being 13 years old selecting female Shep so you can watch her, from behind the whole game as you're running in that outfit.
Yeah, no, it's got nothing to do with that. Especially by the third one, where they try to make her specifically a hot redhead. Because before that, do you remember it was like Shepard was like there was a specific
Shepard,
male design, but there was no specific female design.
I should remember the female design for 3 being weird in a different way, but it's been forever since I played 3. So
It's yeah, I've called Mass Effect 2 my favorite game ever, and it's been forever since I played them at this point.
but anyway, Garrus is hot.
Okay.
Like
No, anyways,
he's
there was a Machinima series for Terminator
he's
Salvation.
got
I
like a
guess it's like a
scar,
prequel.
like after in the second one because he turns into like Dirty Harry almost, like he's like a vigilante. He's like the Punisher. He
Yeah.
gets like a
Yeah,
scar
that
on.
is fucking sick.
Oh yeah, he's the coolest. He was like I tried going by the book, but it didn't work. And you're like Garrus, but revenge isn't the way unless you're Renegade Chef, and you're like, yeah, go fucking kill him. Like both are hot. And then you can bug him when he's trying to calibrate the cannons or whatever the fucking Mass Effect
Oh
2.
yeah, I'm doing some calibrations, and that
Yeah,
was a very popular meme.
yeah. For some reason, people really wanted to talk to Garrus.
Yeah, I don't know, beats me.
Just saying, you might have learned something about yourself. It is a fucking hate crime. Only female Shep can romance Garrus. That's not right. It's not right, people. I know gender's bullshit and everything, but that ain't right.
Yeah,
What were we talking
yeah.
about?
A lot of that
Terminator?
stuff is like, yeah, Terminator. Yeah. See, is there any gender specific stuff in the Terminator
Not
franchise?
that I can think of off the top of my head.
I think there is one in Dark Fate, the character
I,
of Grace, who I've
well,
mentioned
yeah,
a couple times.
I'm actually gonna say like in terms of I think I've mentioned like I do have a thing for robots in fiction. I think I've mentioned that on this show, right?
Yeah.
I've only done Grace is kind of like one of my like ideal versions of like a character like that, right? Where she's like a
Hmm.
cyborg, but like she's super powerful, but like also has to like she keeps having that thing where she runs low on power and has to like recharge. Like that is so awesome. I love that as a character trait for someone. So
Yeah. And considering it's a sci-fi franchise, like, yeah, it does make sense that cyborgs would just be a thing at a certain point.
mm,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I get why they're not in the first two, um, but yeah, it's kind of wild that it took till the fifth movie,
Mm.
no, the sixth movie to try that.
Grace was also she was also Tully in the movie Tully.
Everyone's favorite.
Tully is the one where like I joked like, wouldn't it be funny if the movie ended with this, and then that ended up being the twist of Tully?
Yep.
Wow,
We
wow.
totally skipped over Terminator Genisys.
Yeah, remember that
Uh,
movie?
Notoriously awful, pointless movie.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's when, like, look, post Avatar, James Cameron loses some credibility with the nerds. Obviously, doesn't matter, but like on message boards and shit back in the day,
Huh.
people were like, "He's spending all his time doing this. Why isn't he doing more Aliens or Terminator or badass action movies?" And it's like, well, because he doesn't want to. But a big part of the reason was he promoted like the shit out of Terminator Genesis in this one
Yeah,
like marketing video release. Do you remember that?
I start seeing things I recognize. I remember that so much
Yep.
from
And
that.
everyone was like, "Oh, fuck
Mm.
you."
It was weird that they got him to do that. Like,
Yeah.
but that was it. Honestly, it's weird. 2015 Terminator Genesis, it is trying to do a Force Awakens thing almost of just like it's trying to go back to the original film in a weird way while also rebooting it. But I guess that was the mistake is that it's like we're not going to get we're not getting Linda Hamilton back, we're recasting her, but we are going to get Arnold back, right? Like so it's like half in, half out.
Hmm.
Um is Matt
Yeah.
Smith even
Uh,
doing that movie?
he's a setup for a character that would have been the antagonist in the sequel,
Hmm.
which is embarrassing. I think he gets like a moment in the finale as like a computer face in the system or something like
Mm.
that. But the real twist of the movie that they also give away in the
Man, that
trailers,
was the
they
other.
should just stop doing
There was
that.
like, all right,
But
like so much went wrong in the promotion of this, where it was literally like the first images like looked terrible, and it was just so obvious no one knew what was going on. right? They tried. I
Mm-hmm.
remember they actually showed images of like de-aged Arnold pretty early, and it looked pretty bad for like 2015.
Yeah.
And then it was like, yeah. And then at some point, they were so scared about this movie that they just gave it away. They just gave away what
Yeah, that
happened.
John Connor is the antagonist this time. He's been replaced by Terminator machinery or something.
Yeah, it's looking like I'm looking. Hold on. Yeah, like there's the marketing section actually has a controversy added to it, like in terms of like how poorly received it was,
Oh my god.
including how waxy a lot of the effects looked in the trailer. And then yeah, and this is the one where I was thinking of there was Terminator Genesis, the YouTube Chronicles, which had Lily Singh, Superwoman. She was big on YouTube for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Toby Turner, who was an actual Terminator in the movie. Um, Olga Kay, is she popular still? Uh, a bunch of people that are just not, no one even remembers who these people are now.
Yeah.
Matthew Santoro, didn't he get canceled?
Did he? I mean, if they're on YouTube, there's like 50% chance they've been
I
canceled at
think it
this
was just
point.
one where people just,
So,
it's hard to tell who got canceled and who like people just started finding annoying at a certain point, right? Like a lot of guys who were just
mm-hmm.
like, he's annoying. Um, that guy was like the facts, 50 facts to blow your mind guy. Um, and Epic Lloyd from Epic Rap Battles of History.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a thing to promote it. Believe it or not, it didn't work,
Mm.
but it's canonical
Oh,
to the franchise.
wait, is it really? Don't say that.
It's supposed to be canonical to Terminator Genesis. Arnold shows up in it
Oh my god.
for like 2 seconds, and he doesn't look like he wants to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, they had no problem bringing Arnold back.
Mm.
Linda Hamilton left out to dry again. Emilia Clarke, my girl, who I really hope she gets some good roles in the future because I really really like her.
Mm.
Even outside of like the actual projects where I think she's often very good. Like look up like marketing events from like Solo and this movie. She seems like she's so much fun to have on a press tour. She seems like a bundle of joy. Even that really bad Christmas movie she was in last Christmas, she just got this like great energy. Like, why isn't she in more comedies? I guess we don't make comedies anymore, but like,
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
I
Is
don't
that
know, man.
she would have had a better career with the existence of rom-coms, right? Not that I'm saying that like she has to do rom-coms. I'm just saying that would have helped her career. And it's
Yeah,
like you can only do like shitty comedies or like shitty dramas where they just go like, what if you were just really serious and had no character? Because we don't know how to write women, really, right? Like that's a
yeah,
big part of it. And yeah, it's like
yeah,
you're Daenerys Targaryen, and that character's gonna be immortal. Like she was so good at
yeah,
it, they didn't know how to end the show, basically, right? Like,
yeah. They're
like
like,
part of it was that like too many people liked her. Like that ended up being the problem of Game of Thrones. Because in the book, she's much more complicated. There's also that element of all them being younger in the book, so like you get sort of their impulsiveness at times, but like
yeah,
like Daenerys being like, oh, and now she's like Dragon Hitler, and people are like, we're actually cool with it. Like that, which is not how you want the audience to respond to your thing,
yeah.
right? Like even
No.
she came out and was like, "Yeah, I don't think Daenerys did anything wrong." Like that was her. Like she gave it. Emilia Clarke gave that interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still on her side. Um, and yeah, it's very funny that that's how that went. But yeah, since then it's like yeah, she did fucking she was an alien on um what was it? Secret Invasion.
Yeah. Yeah. The worst received Marvel project ever,
Mhm.
like unanimously.
How did Secret Invasion happen? Like
Like I don't
genuinely.
know.
Like
I don't know what like anyone who actually was like that was even okay. Like
yeah.
everyone's like, no, that's a blight.
And
Like,
look, I get the like Civil War thing because like Civil War is like some people like that miniseries, whatever. No one likes the series Secret Invasion, right?
yeah,
Like that's the weird one to me. Where it's just like, why adapt one of the worst Marvel crossovers ever? Like,
You know why? Because Civil War has a much better hook. Heroes fighting heroes.
yeah.
Boom. Got it. Easy sell, right?
Mhm.
Greatest pitch in like comic book history. Secret Invasion, it's like, oh, okay, we're doing body snatchers, but with superheroes. And maybe the people who are body snatching them also have their superpowers because of the super scrolls.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Whatever. Okay,
Mm.
it's not a horrendous idea. It is a horrendous idea when you spent the entire Captain Marvel movie being like, actually, the Skrulls are ostracized and oppressed minorities in
Well,
space.
that is the comic kind of too. Like, there's a little bit of that in the
Is
comic.
I
The
don't remember
the
that.
comic is a really, really, really bad metaphor for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Oh
Like,
no.
in broad strokes, we're like, I think the Skrulls are meant to be like Palestinians, but they're of course the more evil ones, right? Like they're
Oops.
yeah. So also not a great time to adapt that. I don't know. I don't know how many of those elements.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those elements made it to the series, right? But that didn't help things. Also,
No.
another Amelia Clark gets fucked by the advertising where it was like, remember that image came out of her as a Skrull or whatever, and it just looked awful. Like I think that was like the first moment people were like, "Oh
Yeah.
no!"
Well, that's in the finale
But
of
like
the
it,
show.
but I remember that image getting shared kind of like there was an image from it that started getting shared that looked terrible. That
Oh, I think people thought it was fake when it leaked
yeah.
early.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Christopher McDonald's on
But
Secret
anyways,
Invasion.
wait, what?
Shooter McGavin himself.
Oh my God! Really?
This character was based on the real life newscaster Tucker Carlson. That's great. Great.
Jesus Christ.
Everything it sounds like
Uh,
great. Also, why have I guess it doesn't make sense anymore. I guess they fucked up Marvel because they did Infinity Gauntlet Infinity War, but like the Kree Skrull War is the one you want to adapt, right? Like
mm-hmm.
that's like one of the best comics ever.
Yeah.
Why don't we do fun
But
things?
anyways, other actually something I do like in Terminator Genesis. The one thing I actually get a kick out of. J.K. Simmons is in the movie, and he kind of fulfills the role that we wanted the therapist to fulfill in the rest of the franchise, where he's like hopping through when they're hopping throughout time. They keep running into J.K. Simmons' character, and at one point he's just like, "Goddamn time traveling robots," and it's like it's played straight,
Yeah.
but he kind of gets the vibe of like this is trash.
Hmm.
This is not like high art,
Another
and
era
yeah.
where, oh my God. All right. Do you know who who one of the producers is on
I
on
have the directors pulled up and potential director, but you go
on
ahead and drop it.
David Ellison.
I just saw. No.
Yep. Well,
This explains everything.
yeah.
Like I am not fucking joking.
Mhm.
This is absolutely the fan fiction riddled brain of a diseased capitalist pig.
Yep. Yeah, I mean
This
this
is
is
I
a
want to do Terminator again. What
yeah.
else are you bringing to the table? I want to do it but bigger. And okay, well, what's it about? Where it's so big. There's so much more we could do with the technology now. Okay, but what's it about? Everyone says James Cameron gets obsessed with his technology. That may be true. He never forgets like the narrative engines of his stories. You can argue the success of them, but he's making a full picture meal here. Someone like a David Ellison
Yeah.
is not making a movie. He's making a promotional campaign.
Also,
And
I'm
in the moment, I would even say that campaign worked because this made $440.6 million. Back then, that was still a success.
not enough, clearly.
Not enough. Well, it was just
David
this
Ellison,
was
look,
rejected like before it came out.
I'm looking at David Ellison's filmography, and a lot of his movies are technically made money, but actually didn't do enough, right?
Mm.
And he's got a lot of those. And it's so funny comparing his filmography to his sister's filmography in terms of what she's a producer on, and unfortunately, a lot of her stuff fucking just bombed. But she actually produced good movies. Why does she have taste and you don't? What happened there? Huh?
That's interesting. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, the wrong
Yeah, so
kid
this movie was
died.
directed by
What'd I
Alan
say? I didn't
Taylor,
say
by the
that.
way.
I didn't say that. You can't prove I said that.
Mm-mm-mm. Do you remember Alan Taylor?
Yes, because he went on to do the Sopranos movie.
Yeah, did you ever see that?
I did. You know what? I'm a defender of it.
Okay.
It's not.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, the problem is it's like there's just I don't know. It's not like it's not exactly something you can just do one. It was clearly meant to be like the beginning of something, and then it just didn't happen. But
Yeah.
it's very fine, and it's kind of just like I do like it's another element of the Sopranos like demystifying stuff, and it's very just does the work of the show, but it's not. Obviously it doesn't light anything on fire. He also directed a lot of the best episodes of The Sopranos, but has not
Yeah.
had a very successful film career, right?
No. I became familiar with him because he directed an episode of Lost. He directed 2 episodes of Rome, several episodes of Mad Men. But primarily, he directed like a game-changing episode of television, which is also Game of Thrones related, in Baelor, the 9th episode of that first season, which is the one where Ned Stark dies. Where if you're like me and didn't read the books at that time, you're like, this changes television forever. And I think it kind of did, to be honest.
Oh, I
Because
remember
now
when
you
that
got like,
aired. I remember when it aired, and people and having read the books, I was dumb and just assumed everyone had read the books, so I didn't realize that like so many people were gonna be
mhm.
like, "Oh my God." Did I ever tell you that I bought the first two Game of Thrones books together, and unfortunately, the back of the second book spoiled the first book.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that
um,
was whatever.
yeah.
But
But I really remember after he left Game of Thrones because his episodes were generally quite strong. There's one like where it's an exposition dump episode before the big battle in season 2. That's not very good, but it's one of those ones where you're like, this is just you're just killing time basically. But I remember he left to do movies, and I was like, oh, you got the Game of Thrones guy to do Thor 2? Holy shit! Then you see that movie, and you're like, well, it looks good, I guess. Beautiful gowns. And it's like, okay, he's doing Terminator. All right, maybe this is where it's at. And then you see Terminator Genesis, and you're like, oh, fuck, this dude is washed before I even know what the word washed means. Then he goes back to TV, and his one episode of Game of Thrones that he does again in the late season show is Beyond the Wall. Do you remember that one?
is that the one where
That's
everyone
the
was
one I
like,
think that like started breaking people.
was that the one where people were like, we can't see what's happening?
No, no, no.
Okay.
That's in the last season. Beyond the Wall is when John goes north with the Suicide
Oh
Squad to bring back a
yeah.
White Walker.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh dear. Oh no.
Yeah. And then like Uncle
That all
Benjen comes
right.
back and
Uh,
he's like, "John, I'll save you." And then he dies immediately. And then you're like, "What was that then?"
that is genuinely. I'm sorry. I'm having like flashbacks to
Yeah.
honestly, like I know we're in this like like oh fucking Rise of Skywalker sucked, right? Like I know like we have all these conversations. Holy fuck with Game of Thrones, man! Like that's a fumbling if, of all time, right? Like
Yeah.
that's I yeah like that I can't think of like even just trying to like process it, just being like I get it. At a certain point, you ran out of books. Like, I get that. That's a problem, and I don't envy your position. But how did it go from that to that, right?
Mhm.
Like that is a like
It's
we don't know. We that is a genuine we don't know what we're doing moment. Like,
Yeah. No, season 5 was the season where I was like, "Oh, this show can actually be like horrendous. This could
yeah.
be like I need to not watch this show anymore level of bad." Season 7 was when I was like, "Oh, they're not going to land this."
Mm,
Like it was beyond repair for me. And that episode specifically, I'm not even against. I know everyone hates the idea of like them going beyond the wall to get a White Walker. Stupid, but I'm like John would come up with that plan. So never a bother for me. But that episode, it's not just horribly like written. Like, I'm sorry, Alan Taylor. I'm glad he's got such. He had a successful television career. His direction in that episode is truly like borderline asinine. It feels like it's not the same guy. It feels like someone body swapped him
It
with a scroll and became a bad television director.
feels like they might not have had a script while they were shooting it.
Yeah, truly.
I mean that's a lot of what the last seasons of Game of Thrones. It feels like there's like it. What's weird is like I think when you watch season 8, the final season, it does feel like they had a script. It was just terrible, right? Like it does feel
Yeah.
like they were actually building towards something. It was just really bad. Uh,
Yeah.
and but like yeah,
No, 7 is where like there's big battles every episode and it's huge and epic and you're like, what changed in between those like handful of episodes? Because that
yeah,
was the first one that was a shorter season too.
hmm
And it was like, wait, nothing happened.
yeah.
Like,
I'm just bad. Like it really to me, that is a big of just like what the fuck happened, right? You know.
yeah. Um, okay, worth noting that Justin Lin almost directed Terminator 5. And he was coming off of almost directing The Bourne Legacy.
Mm.
So he was like hopping around. I think he was trying to leave the Fast franchise at the time.
Why?
And then I don't know. It seems they seem like difficult movies to make. But anyways, he was even going to bring over Chris Morgan, his Fast writer, as like the writer of Terminator.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it would have been a better movie. It sounds like it wouldn't have been great anyways. And then the people who like they started tapping other filmmakers to take over after him, including Ang Lee, Denis Villeneuve, Ryan Johnson.
Mm.
And like Ryan Johnson's like an obvious choice coming after Looper because that's like
Yeah.
very like that makes perfect sense.
100%.
Glad he didn't do it.
Mm.
Yeah, we won. We won with
Glad he
Ryan
went
Johnson.
and
We just
ruined
did.
another franchise. Bah.
No, don't even joke. They'll hear you. Yeah, and then Alan Taylor takes over, and then I didn't know this, but I guess his girlfriend, a storyboard artist by the name of Jane Wu, she asked him to turn it down.
Mm.
And after reading the alleged script at the time, and she was like, "You should do something more personal, something that you really love." And then Taylor was like, "I want to work with Arnold Schwarzenegger." And you know what? I can't blame him.
Um. Uh.
Maybe you can.
Yeah. No, he made the wrong decision. I think it's very easy to say.
No, he did. This is one of the worst like movies I've ever seen in the theater. Like this is some true blue dog shit. But if I had the chance to work with Arnold, it would be hard to say no.
I'm sorry, I ended up reading about what the fuck is going on with Fast X 2.
That's how exciting Terminator Genesis is.
Yeah.
Well, here I could start wrapping us up with Dark Fate because I think we both would agree with this.
We already talked about Dark Fate, I think somewhere else on the podcast. Like, did we do an episode or did we talk about it in a different movie?
We just talked about it at length, but it's just one quick thing, and I think it's that Terminator Dark Fate, which isn't a great movie, but has a lot of great ideas and brings Linda Hamilton rightfully back to the forefront of the franchise. And Mexico. There's a lot of Mexico in the first two movies that I really like as a Mexican, obviously. But I think Terminator Dark Fate is a fucking massive hit if it comes out instead of Genesis. Or even like if it's the third movie. It would be controversial still because you kill off John, right? But like even a version of that movie that's like Linda Hamilton's back and Arnold, like a tag team duo, like I think it's a much more successful movie. It is far from the worst in the series.
I think the mistake, honestly, was showing that John Connor gets shot. Honestly, like that flashback.
Did they show that in the trailers?
No, it's in the movie, and I believe it's the opening, and it's a de-aged Linda Hamilton, and I don't know what they did for John Connor, but like it's.
They did like a de-aging and a face swap.
Yeah, and then like a de-aged Arnold shows up and shoots him, and I think that's like a really bad idea to open the movie with that, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that was a mistake. But yeah, it's one of those where like they ran out of goodwill by that point,
Yep.
and because I don't think because again Genesis was like so poorly received, and yeah, maybe if Genesis hadn't come out, I think yeah, Genesis is the one that really fucks it because that was like Arnold's back, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and if they had saved that for Dark Fate, it might have helped it. To be like Arnold's back and Linda Hamilton's back, that might have really helped things. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, because I think they're
Yeah, I
trying
think
to
so too.
like part of it. They're trying to sell like no offense, like I love Linda Hamilton, but they are going like Linda Hamilton's back to like a generation that has no idea who the fuck Linda Hamilton is, right? And a
Yeah.
generation that only knows that like the Terminator franchise is like mostly bad movies by this point, right? Uh,
Yeah.
it's 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 that tipping point of like now the with certain franchises when it's like when there's more bad ones than good ones, like that becomes a problem. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's about even, I would guess. Like, for like Terminator, Terminator 2, and Dark Fate, I think are the good ones. And it's like 3, Salvation, and Genesis are the bad ones. So it's like about even right now.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's yeah. I had like in my head, I was like, no, no, there's more bad Terminators than good, and I think it just seems like there's more bad now because the first two are so totemic to like
yeah.
society
And Dark
that it's
Fate
like
is
anything less than like great is
Dark
a mark against it.
Dark Fate is kind of forgotten. Like no one even talks about it really. And it's also like even though I'm like, yeah, I liked it, I'm not like seeking it out, right? Like I'm not
Yeah,
going
I'm not revisiting it,
mm.
but I think you and I were both just like, no, no, this is pretty
Yeah, it's
good.
pretty good.
It
Like,
was okay.
if this is what you're gonna do, it's good. But also, like the other movies had such big marketing pushes compared to Dark Fate. Like there are still
Yeah.
remnants of the marketing for both Salvation and Genesis around. Whereas, like, I can't think of much of what they did for Dark Fate. Like, not that there weren't trailers everywhere, but it felt like that was one where they were kind of like, let's see what happens here. And maybe part of
No, and
that was I guess Paramount, whoever owned it, being like we're about to lose the rights. Like this is our last.
mhm.
So like, who really cares? You know?
Yeah. Also, it's a big action movie again. Cost $200 million. Again, Terminator doesn't have to be a massive $200 million action movie.
Mhm.
Salvation had the same problem. Although, again, like that approach is a better like theoretical approach than just doing another T2
Yeah,
sequel, you know.
yeah. Like I said, I just think
That one you
they.
just get fucked the wrong fucking people.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those ones where they just we don't know. I don't think anyone knows what to do with Terminator because they don't know what it is anymore. Part of it is because
Mhm.
the first two movies are so different in a lot of ways, right? Of just
Yeah.
the massive shift between Terminator and I mentioned that's the other problem I think the Alien franchise really has, where everyone is trying to recapture the magic of both the first movie and the second movie at the same
Mhm.
time. And it's like they're two very different. And now we're at a point where no one knows what Alien really is. And I do like that, as much as I have problems with Prometheus, I do like that it was Ridley Scott trying to be like none of the above, even if he was going to even if he was going to hit all the plot beats of those movies again.
Mhm.
But like, it's like well, Alien Earth just came out, and what would you say Alien Earth's conception of the Alien franchise is? Like if how does Alien Earth view the franchise? Like what
It
is
is far more obsessed with the artificial persons, the synthetics, the same way the Alien prequels are. But instead of like trying something new, it does what I really fucking can't stand is when a franchise looks at a less well received entry and then goes, "No, let me try that again, but good." Even if it's like worse.
yeah.
It feels like it's like I know you're not into the Prometheus and Covenant stuff, but those are new approaches for this franchise. Alien Earth feels like, okay, let's do that, and some hackneyed writing about like delusional fairy tales that kids would use to process these heady ideas.
Mm.
The fairy tale thing is a lot of Peter Pan references. To the
How does
point where
but
like
what
the primary antagonist of the show is named Boy
yeah,
Cavalier.
yeah. But what I'm
You
asking is
know,
like if let's say you're fucking Noah Hawley or whatever the fuck his name is, right?
Holly.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. When you sit down, you're like, all right, I'm gonna make Alien Earth. What does he think Alien is? Like the franchise. What does he think it is?
I think he thinks it's much headier. And I know that sounds weird because when Romulus came out, I said I wanted another Alien movie that feels like a roller coaster ride, and then I was like, I didn't want that after all. And then I'm like, I want it to be a little headier. And then Alien Earth comes out, and I'm like, I don't want that at all either, because it's like a bad version of it. So I think he sees it as more of a vehicle for sci-fi ideas than he does anything in terms of like horror. And Romulus is maybe a little too much horror. And what with Alien Earth, I think he almost reveres it too much.
Mm-hmm. That's always a
Because it's
problem with a
also
lot of
like,
these guys where they like, every fucking object is some sort of sacred totem, like
yeah,
it,
where
that was a
whatever you
that's
like
even
or
a
dislike
problem.
the Prometheus stuff,
Yeah.
but
That's even a problem with like
I think
Force
they're
Awakens though, with like even like treating Luke Skywalker's lightsaber like with such importance. Like
yeah
I kind of
that
get it, but it's not the most narratively interesting thing, so it's like worth avoiding. But
yeah.
but I don't know. It
Which is
turns
why it's
into
great when Luke gets the lightsaber and throws it over his shoulder.
yeah.
It's like, hey, it's telling the audience like, hey, maybe don't
Hey,
be too attached to
hey,
this shit.
but in the next movie, is like, don't disrespect the fucking lightsaber or something. He says something like that.
Yeah, look, I'm not here to cast dispersions, even though I that's a terrible movie in my eyes. I think JJ just doesn't have like good narrative instincts.
Oh yeah, I think what
Yeah,
this has always been my
it's
argument.
not evil.
I think people were. I think people took Rise of Skywalker as like this like affront, like that it was like an attack, and it really just feels like flop sweat of being like we had like such a limited time to end this. We were under certain obligations. We don't know how to land this fucking thing, right? Like
Yeah,
that's what that movie feels like. It doesn't, and it just feels like they just fell back on really cheap ideas at the end of the day. So,
yeah. To
uh,
to get like a support from the audience. Not even
uh,
crowd pleasing in the traditional sense, but not in a way that's malicious to the movie that came before. The
yeah,
decisions are just antithetical to the decisions made in The Last
yeah,
Jedi. So it's not malicious. It's just like, no, that's not what we were doing here anymore. So
mhm,
it feels worse than it was intended, you
yeah,
know? And I think a big part of like why we could just put all that stuff to rest is like JJ introduced a screening of the recent Knives Out, and
yeah.
they're being chummy and stuff.
I think that confuses people who are
Yeah, they're
dumb.
like, no,
But
no, no, but they're enemies. I'm enemies
mm,
with them. I don't understand. Uh, the Terminator franchise doesn't have that problem because it's such a mess at this point. Um, and again, I'm not clamoring for someone to be like have this genius idea that goes hand in hand with science fiction and and genre filmmaking as a whole.
mm,
I don't need more Terminator. I do think one day someone will come up with something that's like very invigorating. But if it's just the first two movies forever that are like the game changers, that is more than okay with me. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about with these movies. You got anything?
yeah, I could die happy never seeing another Terminator film again.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I'm interested in more science fiction that takes inspiration from it. But be ambitious, people. Be like
Mm.
try things. Oh,
No,
one last thing
no,
I almost
no,
forgot to mention.
no. Here's the lesson. Harlan Ellison is dead. So just you can steal from him constantly and he won't sue you.
All right.
So just go out
Where
there,
do you recommend people start?
go get a copy of the Deathbird collection. That's usually is the best one. I have no mouth and must scream, stuff like that. Um, you know, you can find some. Just get a collection. Get the Dangerous Visions thing he edited. Steal from all those guys are
Yeah.
dead too because it took them forever to fucking finish it. So,
Okay, here's the thing that does coincidentally cross over with Alien Earth. Timothy Oliphant voiced the Terminator in Terminator Zero, the Netflix anime series, which is written and created by the Batman co-writer Mattson Tomlin,
oh
who's a very fun
boy.
follow on social media.
Um,
I like that show. I don't like it as much as Sarah Connor Chronicles, but I like it, and it was a fun watch. It's not like, again, I'm not here to convince you
I
of
looked
watching
it
another
up.
Terminator thing,
I looked it
but
up, and unfortunately, the first thing I saw was a bunch of YouTubers being like, franchise saved, which is like the thing I never want to see. So,
yeah, yeah. So
that is.
I'm not here to convince you of that. I saw it in lieu of this, and obviously it wasn't like enough to like ignite interesting conversation about it. But I do think if you're someone out there who has like a hankering for like, "Oh, I would like a little more good Terminator," it's worth checking out. And Timothy Oliphant was also an android in Alien Earth, which it does not know how to use him. He's killing it. They got no idea what they have.
I'm not sure that's a guy you want playing an android. No offense to the man. Um, but
No, because I'm not going to do a whole Alien Earth thing, but he's just got too much swagger,
yeah,
and they don't know how to like dial him back. And he's like notoriously an actor who's like, I don't really prep for set. I just kind of come and act, and he's like good at it. So like, not a complaint from me, not a criticism,
hmm
but it's like, maybe don't use that guy as an android. Like,
yeah.
just maybe not. I wish he was the evil CEO of the Wayland Utani competitor instead of
That would make more
Boy
sense.
Cavalier.
What a great name.
Yeah, real fucking genius over there. Matt, thanks for joining me. Anything you want to leave the kids off with at home?
Um, no fate, but what we make for ourselves or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, great. Oh, we didn't talk about Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick is great.
oh yeah,
Goodbye, everyone.
Robert Patrick's great. And then he does an episode of The Sopranos where Tony like makes him look like a pussy. It's great.
Hey, respect to Robert Patrick. That man
No,
is
he's
is a
Patrick's
remarkable actor.
great. Robert Patrick's great. He's
Yeah.
isn't he what's his name's father on the show?
In
Uh
Peacemaker, yeah.
yeah, he's actually good on it. Like he's part of what makes that first season for
Yeah.
whatever you want.
That first season's my favorite James Gunn thing,
Hmm.
I think.
Where's what's he been up to lately? He hasn't done a ton outside of that. I guess, whatever. What does a guy like him do? Uh,
Well, he was in season 2 of Peacemaker.
yes, there's that, but that doesn't I don't care. Um I remember he's in Wayne's World. It's the T-1000. It's like the year after Terminator 2.
Oh, he was also the main antagonist in Reacher season 2.
Oh yeah. Huh. Man, the dude has played the T-1000 like four times in like cameo appearances.
God bless him.
Like he did
God
Wayne,
fucking bless him.
he did Wayne's World and so like it's only like 1991 Terminator 2, 1992 Wayne's World, 1993 Last Action Hero where he is the T-1000 again. Wow.
Okay, here's a last note, not related to Terminator, but if you want another amazing Robert Patrick performance, check out the 13 episode canceled television show Last Resort on Hulu. Um, Really ambitious show right before like streaming and cable stuff took off with genre television. You could see that show had a million directions it could have gone. It ends on a really strong note. Robert Patrick is fucking incredible in it. He has a moment in the series finale that he completely improvised, and it's just like it's incredible. He's amazing. That show is really fun and good.
How do we feel
Go check it
about
out.
how do we feel about him being on like the last two seasons of fucking X-Files?
He's better than the show at that point. The
Hmm.
new characters they bring in are interesting. The
Yeah.
show is just like spinning its wheels too much. That's the problem.
Mm. Yeah, there was a kind of a limit on what you could do with the X-Files at a certain point.
Yeah.
Remember,
Well,
he was also the sword master in Avatar.
oh
He
yeah,
makes
that's
the sword.
right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Hey, do you think they'll bring him back in the live action show?
Why not? That would be totally cool and
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah, that'll be chill.
Let's get competing
All right.
Avatar series. And I don't know what to do because one of them's like terrible and on Netflix, and the other is now under Paramount, which is like turning into like the Trump propaganda network.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. That new show looks cool.
Do you think
The 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 animated one.
do you think aligning with Trump will negatively affect Paramount in the future?
Unfortunately, I do.
Do you think why?
Because 10 years ago, or 11 years ago now, they struggled against network censors to be able to have two women hold hands and stare at each other in the
Hmm.
finale. What on earth do you think they're going to do under the Trump administration if they try to have two people of the same gender kiss?
But I thought Trump loved the gays. Remember he hugged that flag or whatever? He held no, he didn't hug.
Oh, yeah.
He hugged the American flag. He just held up a gay pride flag.
Oh, okay. I don't know. We got to get Zoran to
Also,
talk to him.
he blew Bill Clinton.
Goodbye, everyone.